Hello, everybody. Intro, because I don't like my other intro, so I've got to make a new one. I know I said that last week, and I've been still too sick this week, not concentrating on anything. So I'll worry about a new intro later. But today we have, as usual, Mr. Enzo with us and the beautiful Carla. Bless her. She's like me, guys. So I've got a bit of a croaky voice. Carla's got a little bit of a croaky voice, I detected later. So if we start to throw to Enzo to talk, it's because we're losing our voices. And I've got coming in maybe about half an hour or so. Currently, she is getting her hair done. Heather from Come Hither with Heather will be here. So for the time being, you've got us. And I guess the first subject I want to touch on, Enzo, is the rocket. I was hoping it was sort of, So what can you tell us all about the rocket, about its takeoff and expectations? Do you know any of that? Oh, should I play your intro? I should entertain everybody. Let's have the Enzo, the science guy intro. I love this.
Who's that man in the fancy shirt? Who's the man with the cheeky smirk? Who has the answers? Who can explain? Well, it's Enzo the science guy. Enzo the science guy. Ask him how, ask him why. Enzo the science guy. He's Enzo the science guy.
I really think you need your own show, Enzo.
So cute.
Yeah, I know.
You should be a star. You would be in days of yore. You probably would have been like, what's his name? Someone Nye, the science guy. You could have been him. But there you go. So Enzo, in regards to the rocket, what have you got?
The engineer guy, yeah. First, just to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. SpaceX Crew 10 has already launched about an hour or so, a couple hours ago, and is well on its way to the International Space Station to rescue the two stranded astronauts. We'll get into the rescued stranded astronauts here in a second, but I feel it's important. We'll set up kind of how those two astronauts ended up stranded on the ISS. Back in let's see, when was it? May 6th of 2024, the Boeing Starliner, which was a new craft, it was basically going to be in competition with SpaceX, kind of a thing. Their idea of it's had its first manned crew, 2-person crew, was going to fly up, dock with the space station, shake everybody's hands, hang out for a day or two, show everybody the new ride, and they were going to hop back in and return to Earth. Well, there were some problems. It didn't quite work out. It turns out the Boeing Starliner was kind of a lemon. There was a lot of various leaks in various different areas, a lot of issues with some of the software that was on there. There was a lot of things very wrong with it. So they're like, we're going to delay you coming back for a week. And it turned into another week and another week. And then by the time it rolled around, May 14th, they're like, we're going to go for, we're going to scrub the whole thing. We're not sure when you're going to go home, because they were trying to figure out, sort of like if you saw the movie Apollo 13, all the engineers trying to figure out how to fix the ship that's, thousands of miles away, kind of a thing, over a radio. They were kind of doing the same thing. But, the astronauts were safe. They're on the space station. It's not like the thing was going to explode, at least docked at the space station. There were some concerns about some of the leaks that it did have, fuel leaks and other, oxygen. The thing was just a garbage can with a rocket on the end. Not very good. It's a Boeing product. Boeing has not been doing so well with a lot of their industry, their aircraft and everything else the last few years. They've had a lot of bad breaks, and this is another one. But it got to the point where I remember it was like May when they went up there. When it got to be about August, they decided, we're going to try and autopilot the Starliner back by itself, basically saying it's unsafe for you to travel on this thing, the people that flew it up there, because it's know what was going to happen. It could very likely explode, just maneuvering around. So they put it on autopilot kind of a thing and control it from the ground. And it actually did land safely without incident.
Good.
So that's good.
I was going to ask you.
Oh, sorry. On the space, you got 2 extra people on the space station with no way home.
Yeah.
That was in August. And they hemmed and hawed. And of course, right away, people, even Elon Musk himself said, hey, we can, because the next normal rotation for the astronauts was going to be March originally. And they're like, hey, because they were actually building a new type of capsule than what they had been using on the SpaceX side. And they're like, I'll double the production right now. We'll have this thing ready in a couple of months, in a month and a half or so. We can get them home by Christmas for sure. Probably early. Actually, I almost said, I don't think he said it, but it was basically their like November time frame. Like the joke was like, hey, we can get them home in time to vote. But so they hemmed and hawed around with that, but there was never any kind of official tasking from NASA or the White House or anybody like that. They're like, no, we'll figure it out. We got to figure it out, because Boeing still seemed to have the idea that we can figure this out because we have another prototype thing here. We can fix our own mess, kind of thing. No, they were nowhere near any kind of launch window for a second Starliner or anything like that, and they still aren't. As a matter of fact, today, well, not today, but current time, Boeing's looking to sell off all of their space program stuff to somebody else, and they have no intention of building another Starliner. They're getting out of the biz. But so it gets to be December, and the officials at NASA said, just wait until March for the regular rotation with SpaceX. And as soon as, when President Trump came into office and spoke to Elon, it's like, can we do anything about these people that are stuck up there all this time? He's like, we're nearly done with this. We can go ahead a little ahead of schedule at this stage. So it launched today instead of, basically it was the end of March is what they're doing. So it was around the same time frame, but mostly because they never got the tasking of, hey, get up there and save them. Because to be fair, the headline, the splashy headlines is, they've been marooned in space, they've been abandoned. They were fine. There was, yeah, sure, it was a little crowded because of a couple extra people on board. But to be honest, NASA was excited because they could get way more experiments done with a couple extra hands on board during that time frame, because all of the astronauts that are up on the ISS are constantly doing something. They have a very regimented schedule. It's like, you need to do this test on this time and do this at this time, blah, 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 blah. Everything. They've got various experiments and things like that they do pretty much around the clock. So they're very busy. So to have a couple extra people on hand to give an extra hand, and it's, with 2 extra, it's not like they were breathing up all the air, or they were taking turns, they weren't rationing their food or anything like that.
The other thing, Enzo, I did note, again, me, I like to watch Joe Rogan, and when Elon was on, he was talking about this rescue mission. Now, I can't remember exact details, but he did approach the Biden administration at the time. He said, we can go up and get him now. Yep. The Biden administration said, no, thank you. And he goes, but we can go get him now.
That was the next thing I was going to slide into is there were some politics involved about getting those 2 astronauts back, which basically Biden didn't want to give SpaceX the win.
Mm.
You know,
Well,
you know,
I think what he wanted, from what Elon said, was that he said, I'll go up and get it. And now I don't know if this was before or after Elon endorsed Trump. It could have been before. And he said, we can go up and get him next week, basically, or a couple of weeks, like we can get him. Biden said, no. And Elon said it was because the election was coming. They weren't sure if they'd lose or win or whatever. So if they waited until they were elected and then said, go get them, Biden could go, yay, look at me. Look what I did. But instead he chose, in Elon's words, he chose to leave them up there for an extra, whatever it is. They've been for 6 months, 8 months. They've been up there a while.
yeah, since last May.
So yes.
But basically that's what it's turned into, because space travel is pretty dangerous. Although they certainly make it look easy, going back and all the time, making it look easy. It's very difficult. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, much like the Boeing Starliner. That's why they were extra careful with that and decided to bring it back home by its lonesome, because that's the worst thing ever, is to lose astronaut lives as part of your space program. That affects the entire space program for not just our country, but like the Russians. They have their own space program, and there's a lot of other different foreign countries that ride along with us and them to go up to the ISS. There was a Japanese scientist that went up on the one today. So it's one of those things where if you're going to play politics like that, you don't want 2 astronauts died, on reentry kind of a thing, hanging over right before an election. So I kind of get it. And technically, the astronauts were safe. They weren't gonna, it was a slight inconvenience, basically, for everyone on the ISS to have a couple extra people bumping around. It wasn't really that big of a deal to have them up there. They had plenty of supplies, plenty of air, all that stuff. And, they were helping out. They were doing stuff. They were not like they were just loafing around. Whoa.
That's good.
We've lost Karen.
Yeah.
But,
maybe it was our internet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they weren't alone. I'm glad they weren't by themselves up there.
There's usually always like 4 to 8 astronauts up there at any given time.
That's crazy.
March time frame was when the normal rotation would be. So because there was no direction to try and expedite getting the new ship up there, they just went along with the normal thing. And there were a couple of delays in the process for getting that one ready anyways. They were trying to get up like maybe a couple weeks early. They actually were supposed to try and fly 2 days ago, but there was a leak on the gantry mechanism. The rocket was fine, but the gantry mechanism, where they take the elevator up and it's got all the connections for all the fuel and all that stuff that connect into the thing. They had a leak in one of the valve kind of thing. Basically, it was fine just sitting there, but when it pulls away, when the ship's getting ready to launch, they were afraid this line would rupture and it'd be a big mess and be a big hazard. So they just delayed, a couple days.
Oh, I'm just glad that the rocket's gone off safely and they're going up there to get these poor buggers. They're going to be sick when they come back, as in maybe not a head cold sick, but they're going to be so weak. They're going to be weak as kittens. Imagine how much muscle loss they've lost.
It's 6 months or so, or a little more. Well, last May, so so several months, anyways. That's not unusual for astronauts to go up in there, for sure. When they get out of the spacecraft. Karen does know a lot about it.
I do. I just have to mention something. I'm going to interrupt this only because if I don't deal with it now, Sky. When a man has a hair transplant, they take the hair from the back generally, unless he's completely bald. I don't know if it works for that. I think it only works when you've got still your own hair. They take the hair from different places on the back of your neck generally, and then implant it on the top of your hair. So it is your hair. It's not pubic hair. It is your own hair. So Elon does have a full head of his own hair. He is not bald.
If I was the richest man in the world, I have a couple of spots I would certainly take care of.
That's what I mean. If I were going bald, I'd do it too. So yeah. But okay. There we go. Continue. Continue on.
Well, that's fairly much it. They're on the way up there. They're going to spend a couple days up there and bring the two Russell. Now, to be fair, I'm sure those people had other things in their life they wanted to do rather than hanging out up in space for several months. But they've always got, and they've been very respectful and artful and how they would discuss it, because they do periodic press junket kind of things with the astronauts up on the ISS every once in a while. And of course, these two are not supposed to be there. So they would get a lot of those questions like, do you think that they intentionally abandoned you and all that? It's like, no, it's nothing.
No, it wasn't intentional. The only intentional that I can see that they were left there longer than need be was the political issue. But that's okay. It's all done now. They'll be home soon. And I did like Trump's in the Oval Office there where he said, he said, I don't know if they love each other. I hope they love each other because they've been stuck up there together for so long.
There's other people up there.
Yeah,
there's other people up there. And I think they're both married home here. So, but I'm just glad. So it'll be interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see when they come back. So it's been, it's good. It's good. I'm happy.
To Tanya, yes, I did stay up quite late last night watching the lunar eclipse. I tried to video it, but because I had my little setup out there to track the moon and to video the whole thing, and I had this big plan, sort of like how I did a year or so ago with the solar eclipse.
Yep.
And share that. But it was so windy last night. There was someone else earlier in the chat was talking about high winds. There's a lot of high winds across the middle part of the U.S. right now.
Yeah. Earl is currently driving his big rig. Well, I hope he's not driving and texting. I hope he has pulled over to when he talks to us. But yeah, he said very strong winds. So yeah, no good. We don't want you to blow away, Enzo.
Yeah, I've got the winds here are like 30 miles an hour, gusting up to 55. And it's just blowing. And since about noon today, the sky has just been brown. It's just been blowing just nothing but dirt. There's large chunks of Oklahoma blowing past my window right now. But
now, the other thing that I wanted you to tell people about, which you told Carla and I before we came on, which I knew they were dangerous, but I didn't know they were that dangerous. As most people who have been watching the news or whatever might be aware that currently Tesla dealerships, Tesla owners, etc., are under attack by no other word, dickhead wankers. So people have been, dickhead wankers have been going and trying to, boycott Tesla. If you own a Tesla, you're a whatever you are, and you regular Joe in the street who might be lucky enough to own one. Not most, but some of them are being attacked when they're driving. Some of them are having their cars attacked. There's the dealerships are under attack. People going in with guns and blowing things up and setting things on fire. And as I said before, for people who don't know, Elon does not own the Teslas in the dealership. Elon does not own the dealership. Elon owns the company that makes the Teslas. So these dickhead wankers are actually attacking everyday American people that have worked hard to buy their Tesla, and they're attacking everyday American people that have worked hard to buy a dealership and the right to sell those cars. And those cars that are getting destroyed are actually now, once they're in the dealership, owned by the dealership. Elon sold them. So now it's up to the dealership to sell them. So those dickhead wankers are hurting people, and I hope they get thrown in jail. But Enzo, explain the battery thing, because that's pretty scary.
First, as an American, it is your First Amendment right where you can certainly go out in a public area and protest all you like. You can ring your bells and wave your signs and make people aware that maybe the people that you're protesting against basically maybe change their mind. That's fine. Shooting into dealerships and setting electric cars on fire is not a proper protest. And electric cars, there's no gasoline in it. It's got this giant set of batteries that take up basically the whole floorboard, let's say, of the vehicle, everything underneath of your feet. But when you're sitting in it is a giant battery or a set of batteries.
Wow.
Of some chemistry of lithium style batteries to be able to supply the power for the vehicle to drive like a bat out of hell with completely no noise, which is really cool. But the thing is when lithium batteries catch on fire, they don't go out. It is a burning metal. It will your regular fire departments, they don't have the proper stuff to put it up. Water's not going to do anything. Even like the special foam like they use at airports for like, when an aircraft crashes, which some had some practice lately in some of those, we're dealing like with fuel. It's totally different fire even from that. So even that special foam stuff that drowns it all out and absorbs all the oxygen, halon and all that other stuff, that doesn't do a whole lot for a lithium battery on fire. It would, if it's like one of the vehicles is sitting in like the showroom with like a cement floor or whatever, it'll burn through that cement floor. It'll leave a giant crater in the floor. If it's on blacktop, it's going to be into the dirt before that fire ever goes out. It's one of those things, all they can do is just kind of contain it and let it mostly burn itself out. And it's just really ugly. And of course, environmentally, all the fumes and vapors and smoke and everything that comes off of that, that's one of those you got to like evacuate people out, downwind of wherever that smoke's going. Because if you breathe that, that's ugly business too. So it's super dangerous, super dangerous. Those kind of things. That's one of the super big downsides about having an electric vehicle is that battery. You get into a giant car accident with that, and that case cracks open. Bad news. There's a lot of special certifications like first responders have to go through and how to deal with it and stuff like that. It's scary.
Yeah, and I've just been trying. I've just been trying to show some footage of that. But if you go into YouTube and just Google Tesla battery fire, I just had a look at one. Whoa, it looks like, it'd blow my house up. My house would be gone looking at the size of the explosion. So there you go. Thank you, Cheryl. And I also, just quickly, I don't have a thank you for buying the membership thing anymore because I stopped that a while ago, except I've got the memberships. But Sky donated a membership. So I'm just going to give you a thank you with Enzo being abducted. Thank you, Sky. If it wants to play. Oh.
No, please.
See, he's gone.
That's so cute. Your animation's so cute, Karen. Good job on those.
I haven't done any for a while. I should do
They're
something.
Cute.
What's Ian having a whinge about? Hang on, I'm having real trouble. Ian whinges. Unless you criticise the Israeli government, in which case you're arrested by ICE, sent to a detention facility, and threatened with. I don't know where you're getting your information, but that's incorrect. But that's okay. Just educate yourself a little bit better, Ian. ICE is not bothering with people that are going crook about Israel. But, yes, arresting that dickhead wanker that was sending around Hamas propaganda. Yeah, fuck him. Send him to Gaza. There you go. That's where I'd send him. Fuckwit. Oh, sorry, I get very, very angry. So yes, he can be deported, and I think that's what you might be inadvertently referring to. Yes, he should be arrested. He should be deported, and just fuck him. That's what I think. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, well, good on him. He can agree. Send him to Gaza, and he can go and live with Hamas. He'd last 5 seconds. End of rant. Karen's rant is finished. But there you go. Yeah, I can't tolerate anybody who supports Hamas. I'm sorry. That's just
I see you all fired up.
Oh,
You're pretty wired up. You are.
That really gets me fired up. Because I saw those little babies, that were murdered, and more, and F Hamas, and F anyone who supports them, and if anyone does support Hamas, quite happy for you to fuck off. I'm just, they're monsters. End of rant.
Monsters.
There we go.
Yep.
End of rant. Yeah. Oh, there's political talk on my channel now, Tanya. I'm sorry. Just, yeah. It's it's just how it is. If I see someone that's absolutely saying stupid things without actually really educating themselves, I can tell you now, Enzo will tell you I'm obsessed. My days I'm just waiting for firstly the Russia-Ukraine thing. Russia's all in for it, so hopefully that'll be over and done with in a couple of weeks. That'll be brilliant. And so as far as the Hamas thing, it's very, very complicated. So, but having said that, anyone who would say it's okay to do what they did to women, little babies, mothers, etc., and especially if and I have seen the footage of when certain people were taken, and what I've seen it, and it's the most disturbing footage I have ever seen in my life. And perhaps some other people aren't looking at that, but you should. And yeah, they're worse than evil. I don't know how else you can describe what they do. So yeah, anyone who supports them, I'm sorry, just fuck off. And if they come to my country, fuck off. And speaking of people who can fuck off from my country, change the subject. An American young lady, apparently some kind of hunter person, I don't know, I stuck a thing up. A young American lass was here. She's since been deported. She's been sent back to America. She should have been fined. I don't know if they will. But thinking that it was okay to go out into our wilderness and separate baby joeys or baby echidnas, baby wombats from their mothers, while an Aussie fellow that was with her filming thought that was a big joke too. He's a bloody wanker dickhead. Someone should kick him in the head. She's picking up these little babies. The mummies of these little babies are distressed and whatever, and they're just laughing, thinking it's really funny. And you don't do that. Like, I know I come to America and I joke about the wild horses, but would I actually do something like that? Never. I would never, ever touch. You just don't screw with our wildlife, and then do that, because you could hear the mama wombat.
I saw like a 5-second clip of like she runs over and grabs one up off the side of the road. Was she just driving along and saw it, and she just reached over there and grabbed it? I mean,
they were out. Obviously, it was nighttime, and nighttime is when the wombats will come out. A lot of the koalas. Koalas are out and about during the day, but kangaroos are generally out and about around dusk. But wombats are out at night. They're nocturnal generally. So whoever this was, this Australian man, wanker, that was taking her out to see these. I mean, she needed someone who knew where these things would be, obviously. So he was obviously either a friend or being paid. So he knew that, if we drive down this road, we're bound to see some wombats. And she spotted one and probably said, "Oh, let me out." No, she runs and picks up the little baby that was terrifying, these poor little animals. And anyone brushes off little animals, like, I'm sorry, like, yeah. So our government saw that. She's been, so far as I know, deported. Yeah, Cheryl, and echidna and kangaroos. She took also. I haven't seen the footage, but got the joeys.
Echidna.
Yeah.
What is that?
Echidna looks a bit like a porcupine.
Oh.
Yeah, they're super cute.
I'll see if I can show you a picture.
They're like a
I
bird
saw.
kind of.
I'm reading an
long
article about
nose.
this lady. That's that's just dumb.
Oh, no. Well, you just don't do that, you know. I mean, I wouldn't come to your country. I mean, you do have these idiots. It's as simple as that. You do have. I'll show you a little picture. They're pretty cute. I've seen. I'll tell you in a minute. Hang on. I'll just show you a picture of an echidna. Where are we? Present. Share screen.
She posts under the name San Jones and is a Montana-based outdoor enthusiast and hunter.
Oh, from Montana, that's a great way to represent Montana.
Yeah.
You know,
so
here in Montana, you're not supposed to disturb the babies. Like, if you find a baby deer or a baby elk, you don't touch it. You leave it there for the mommy. You don't move it.
What is the picture?
You don't touch the babies.
That's an echidna. What? And once I was in a car with, hit one, ran over the top of it, and I screamed. I was devastated. So we jumped out and we picked it up. It was a fully grown one. Poor little thing. I brought him home. Well, I brought him home because his little nose, see their little nose, his little nose, he was going to die. I brought him home. I was going to take him up to the vet to get him euthanized, but he passed away before that happened. But their little bellies, so if you see them in the wild, I had one in my backyard once, and I went, oh, and I'm like, come here, but they run off and they curl up in a little ball, and you cannot. Yes, and they're very, very strong. I don't know how they do it. Their little feet grab the ground. You can't pick them up. So she obviously got one on the roadside or something like that to be able to do that. But they're pretty cute, and their little bellies are like velvet.
Oh,
yeah, the baby, you found it.
He says, I caught a baby wombat, Jones said excitedly, posing for the camera as the animal squirms and hisses in her grasp. Okay, Mama's right there, and she is pissed. The video ends several seconds later with Jones calling out to Mom, who is no longer in sight, and depositing the baby on the side of the road alone and in the dark.
What?
Yep. So Mum, when you watch the footage, she's going, and the poor little kid's going, help. And the Aussie guy goes, Mum's pissed. And the mama wombats come up near the car door and they make a hissing noise. And then they must have somehow scared Mama, and she's run off. And then, and then so that baby wombat, unless Mama comes back after being frightened,
right?
That baby wombat will die. All because of some stupid idiot.
Yeah.
What else is radical idiots in this country are doing stupid shit like that? Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with them. I used to make a joke about, but I've got to be careful, I'll get called a Hitler. I used to make a joke back in the day, if there's a God, can't he just invent a gas and let it go one night and all the stupid people go to sleep forever and all the normal intelligent people are left? But my problem is there might not be enough intelligent people left to repopulate the world at the moment. We'd be right.
I have the video if you want to show.
Yeah. We'll just turn the sound off so I don't. It's a bit hard. We'll stop and start it because I get done with. If I play anything for more than a few seconds, play it. Where have you put it? I can't see it.
Hang on, I'm sharing it.
Oh, there we are. All right, add.
That it?
Just stage. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, just stop and start it as we go. But there she is. Now that would probably be Bubba because it's only little. So yeah, hit the play button.
Just caught a baby wombat.
Just running
Yeah.
with it.
Lots of
And
live
then-
things. Just caught a baby wombat. Is the person said? Did,
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
did you hear that when I was playing it?
Yeah, heard
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And then, of
The
course,
guy
here she comes
laughing.
out to the car.
The
This
guy
guy,
laughing.
whoever it is, I jump in line. And that's mama. That has to be mama.
Aw.
Like, you've taken my baby, bring my baby back.
That's a pretty good sized animal, really.
Right?
Oh, so, wombats are about as big when they're fully grown, probably about as big as close to, not quite as, but close to a Rottweiler maybe with no legs.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
they're pretty
that's a
big.
baby.
They're big.
That's pretty good size.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're swallowing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mom.
Hi.
And she is pissed. Let's let him go.
No, he's right.
All right.
Now see, Mum's actually gone. Mum's
Yeah.
run off because
She was right there by the door. Now she's run off. So.
Yeah, she's off. Look,
What?
I don't know, but this is, I mean, if the mama wombat come back and found her, great. But also the other issue is she's just put her human smell all over that
Mhm.
baby.
Yep.
And that is an issue too with animals. Yeah, good on
right
ya.
in the road. Good Lord.
Right on the road. So
Yeah,
I just, it is, Earl. It is.
Wow.
See, and people may think it's like that. If some people aren't really watching or listening, some people don't care about animals. Some people
Yeah,
don't like
well,
animals.
they
So-
have
and so
feelings.
yeah.
They
Oh,
have
for sure,
feelings.
about animal abuse. Like some people don't care about animals or babies or children. Some people are heartless. So some people could just look at that footage and go, "Yeah, so what? It's just a wombat." Yeah, well, I still empathise with a wild animal because I'm a mama, and I'd be terrified if some person come and picked up one of my babies and ran off
Especially
with it.
hearing the baby. The baby was like crying. Like
Yeah, baby was
not
terrified.
just hissing, but like
It'd be
yeah.
like if a giant gorilla just like swooped in and like picked up like your 1-year-old and
Yeah,
like,
dude.
ran
Oh
off
my
with it
gosh.
and then brought it back to you. But
Yeah.
for a lot of animals, like I know for birds especially, if you get that human scent on
Yep,
them,
they'll like abandon the
they're
baby.
abandoned. Yeah,
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
that human stink
a
on you.
dipshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
me
So
so
I don't know, but there you
Especially
go.
from Montana,
better-
she should know better. What a piece of crap.
Well, I mean, I suppose. Betty White passed ages ago. Who's talking about Betty White? God, good old
That's
Betty.
right.
A bit of a bastard. She died just a couple of days before her birthday, though. That what a bummer. She would have turned
know.
100. That was a
Yeah.
bastard.
Isn't
But
that
anyway.
kind of normally how it goes? I know
Yeah, they
I've been
usually-
in a few graveyards in my day,
Mhm.
and it
Yep.
always seems like their death day and their birthday are like really close.
Yep, really close together sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I saw. We'll get off the subject now, so I can settle down a little bit. Just remember,
Okay.
cruelty to animals, babies, or other humans, I can't tolerate. So shh,
Mhm.
because I will go off. I will. But yeah, poor old Gene Hackman there.
Oh, yeah.
That's awful.
And I heard today that in Australia, if your will is more than in Australia, obviously it's not the same in America, but in Australia, if your will is more than 5 years old, could be 3, but I think it's 5, and you die, and just say in your will you leave all of your money to charity, because your will is 5 years or more old, your family can actually go to court and dispute that. And you can run the risk. Yeah. So it was interesting to hear that his will was 24 years old. He left everything, every single cent, to his wife. However, obviously, she didn't outlive him, so her will states that everything she owns goes to charity, and so therefore And that's if they die at the same time. So I'm not sure it's going to be because already the children have put in, well, one of the sons at least.
Because she was like 20 years younger than him. And
yeah, he wouldn't have thought that
years
she
ago when he did that will, he was like, she's going to outlive me by a long time. And she ends up dying.
And that's when
and he's
the
just kind
same
of
week,
wandering around the house for a week until he passes away.
yeah,
awful stuff.
And it is terrible. And it's come out that yes, he's been estranged, because I thought it was very odd that if you have an elderly father in that condition, that you wouldn't be at least checking in with a phone call once a week, or at least if you hadn't heard anything. Like, and there was a reason. So he has been estranged and not talking to his son and daughters for a very long time. So there you go. Oh, look who's here. It's show us the hair. There you go. Done. Excellent. Excellent.
Sorry I'm late. I had issues.
Oh, it's all right. You've missed all my ranting, so it's all good. You're safe now.
I know I like your rants, Karen, I swear.
Oh, I went off. I can't help it. I can't help it.
I would have brought my.
Yeah, we were just. Yeah, actually, you have met Carla, haven't you? Have you met Carla?
Carla, I don't know. It's entirely possible.
It's okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she sometimes does not remember what she did this morning, but there you go.
Oh.
I was Heather had a live. Heather had a live the other night. It was an impromptu one, so I think you only intended to be on for a couple of minutes, didn't you? And it took off. Yeah. There was people in the chat, and she was having a ball. And then she had a little break, and she came back and made herself a coffee, and it was a very fun live. The last one you did,
yeah, it was excellent. It was really good. Actually, most of my, I have to admit, I'm going to say, if I may blow my own horn, which sometimes I do.
Blow your horn all you like.
Sometimes I must, because nobody else will. Thank you, Enzo. Most of my live streams are fun, I think.
Yeah, they are. And you're cheeky, and I like it because you're not one of these people you're not politically correct. No. You're a regular person. I don't think I'm politically correct either. No. Because I find I try to be polite. I think, do I, Enzo? I try to, until I get really angry and call people dickhead wankers.
They deserve it.
They deserve it. Yeah, and there's a link.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. So, and I've started to think too. I figure, look, I'm such a tiny channel, really, that the very thought that anyone at YouTube's even listening to what I say about anything, and if it turns out that they hear me mention I'll be careful now, the C word that ends in a id, or anything like that, or if I say anything. I just think I
was going to say, what the hell? I was thinking.
No, not the C that ends in the T. No, I think you're allowed to say that. I think you're actually allowed to say that word on YouTube.
With your accent, you can say it. I cannot.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. But yeah. So I just think, nah. Okay. I'll always try to be polite, and I'll try not to hurt people's feelings. I can't promise I won't, because sometimes I say things and I don't know really what that person's thinking that might be in the chat, but I'll just say what I think. I think in the end, be kind to everybody that you can possibly be kind to, except for that dickhead wanker that has put our baby. I won't be kind to her. Like, she's just stupid.
Which dickhead wanker?
Did you? Oh, it's all right. Did you see that? You must have seen that footage, didn't you, Heather, of that stupid American girl out here picking up baby wombats on the side of the road and then leaving them?
Yes, that was just absolutely ridiculous. Now, the Americans would be up in arms if we took one of their reindeer or right?
A
yak or something.
I have to be honest, I'd be like, good, that means I don't have to hit it later.
Tanya's leaving me.
If you see me waving randomly, it's because I'm seeing people say hello to me in the chat. And in case
Yeah,
I
that's-
can't get a word in edgeways, I'm just saying hello to people one by one.
It's always a wise choice in this show. It's
yeah, actually, I'll ask Carla first because, and then I'll get to you, Heather. Carla, have you been out investigating the last, because you've been unwell, so you obviously haven't been doing anything the last couple of weeks. But what was the last place you went to and investigated? Like, not that's on the YouTube, but just the last place that you went to and did a bit of investigative work.
Oh, right. The last place that I went to was the St. James Hospital.
How'd you find it? What do you reckon?
It
I mean,
was-
we found it.
well,
They're obviously using that.
my girlfriend had been there before, and she had like a really cool experience in the infant and children's ward. And so she shared what happened to her with the footage, and then decided to book it through a company that does investigations with groups and stuff. But I usually try to go off by myself. So her and I went off and did our own thing and checked out. And it's really interesting, the old hospital in Butte. It's like one of the oldest hospitals, but I can't imagine back then going through trauma and surgeries and all the equipment they had and how old it was and the anesthesia machines and stuff. So it was really interesting to see all the old medical equipment, but we didn't really have a whole lot of. Yeah, it's like the surgeries and stuff kind of make me scared. Like back then, like how
old saw and ether mask, and that's what you get.
Yeah, it's just
and when you see footage and old photos of them doing lobotomies through the eye or up the nose, and I'm like, oh my god! And no one's knocked out. Yeah, exactly, Heather.
Yeah.
No one is knocked out. They're just strapped down, and I'm like, far out, you know. But and
almost
so
like torture. Yeah, so I'm sure there was a lot of like, trauma in those places. So it'd be cool to go back and do again. But it was just neat to see everything. It's just a different feel. Like you said, some of those places have different feelings.
Different energy. And so you might know the answer to this, or if you don't, ether is what they eventually brought in. I'm trying to think when in the maybe the was definitely 1900s, but I'm trying to think if it was the 20s. It had to have been the 20s because we had World War I.
Yeah, 20s and 30s.
Yeah. Because that you could kind of get knocked out at one point there in the early 20th century, but before that it was just alcohol and strap them and hold them down. Like,
I went through a tour of a pre-colonial fort up in Vermont ages ago. It was from like the late 1600s, early 1700s kind of a thing, and they had this whole little diorama kind of set up of like some of the medical procedures in it, and it was basically just a saw. And I literally thought like kids had busted into the display and put like chewing gum in the display. What it was is they literally gave them a bullet to bite on for the pain, where it was a little red shot ball, and they would bite on it so hard it would look like a piece of chewing gum. Yeah.
Whoa. That's so bad. That's so brutal.
Oh gosh. And Heather. Now Heather is you're working on a what do you call it? A video now, aren't you?
Yes.
But Heather, if you look, I think most everybody in here at the moment has looked at Heather's channel, and you need to check out Carla's as well for the same reason, because they do put up their little footages which are really interesting. But Heather put one up. Heather goes into these places that are, abandoned. But I saw a little clip. I don't know how old it was. I did comment on it, Heather. But you were in a nursing home, I think it was, and it looked like it was an abandoned nursing home. Where was that, and how long ago was that, and how did you get into it?
And for all validity, I'm sorry, I'm just sharing your live stream on my.
Oh, that's okay. Did you hear my question, woman?
Yes, I am gonna. I'm just about to answer. Sorry, I was expecting to finish sharing the post before you finished answering the question. Okay, so I do believe now. I can't remember now. I did two. There were two nursing homes. I did two investigations in. One was a. So a little bit of backstory. We had a whole complex of 1, 2, 3, 4 disability support services. One was a school. One was for not adults, for the elderly, and there was a forensics unit there as well for the criminally insane, and they were all housed on this one great big block of land, and they'd all been decommissioned for various reasons, and that was in conjunction with a royal commission we had on horrible things happening in the disability sector.
Oh yeah, abuse
in the disability sector. It's like there was a huge royal commission on it, and a lot of places got closed as a result of the royal commission. Now, I went into the nursing home. I did one in the nursing home, and I did one in the forensics unit. Now, the forensics unit actually had the doors from the old original Glenside Hospital, which was built in the 1880s, I believe, and it was the original the criminally insane asylum there. They actually had the old wooden doors stored in this abandoned forensics unit. So I actually did my investigation near where these doors were put to see if I would get any kind of responses or reactions. So they were the two places I did the investigations. Now, getting in them isn't very easy because they're all boarded up, and I usually wait for a spotter to kick a door down or break a window before we can get in. So we have to be there at the right time. At the right place. So we managed to get in shortly after both buildings were demolished. Actually, it didn't take long.
And I noted on your short, the one, it would have been the one in the nursing home, because you said, I'm just going to have a sticky beak, or I'm just going to have a sticky nose, a sticky nose. And the curtains were up. There was still beds and like everything. It was kind of just like people got up and walked out.
Yeah, therapeutic baths, patients' records. There were log books. And it's very rare for anything in Australia or South Australia particularly to have anything left behind in a building like that.
Wow. They're usually pretty good.
From what was the time period that like all those records and stuff were from? How long ago?
Okay, so because it was also adjacent to the mental health, the Hillcrest
Asylum.
Hillcrest Lunatic Asylum, as it was known back then. So it was huge, and we're talking about huge. It was a city within a city. Literally, it was self-sufficient. So we're probably going back to around about the 1950s, maybe.
Wow.
Stuff was still sitting around like that. That's amazing.
Yeah. But they only closed down in 2002.
Yeah. So the records that Heather would have seen would have been 2002 records when we were still a paper-based mainly. Like now all of our health systems, you can still fill in paperwork, but it's all digital. I can't even put on the computer. Which I don't think is a good thing, because now if anything happens and we're without a computer or whatever, you can't find any records. Because I think so far as our advancement in technology has gone, I think it's still pretty silly it's not written in a book somewhere. Like it just is, because you don't know what the future holds. We could be without satellites. We could be without anything. But, that was truly interesting. I looked at that. So a lot of the places hi, Dee. A lot of the places that Heather goes to, I'm just astonished. Astonished. And they're all in South Australia, because I don't. So I've got to get over. I will get over, and I'm going to sleep on the Oh yeah, I'll sleep on the couch there with Vampire Baby, and
Yeah.
and
We've got a new bed.
yeah, I
We've got
just
a new
not so
bed.
much.
You don't sit on the couch.
Oh, there you go. But
Oh.
yeah, Heather and I have slept in the same room before, and we were meant to. That was when we were went to that hotel for the night, and we were meant to do a live, and we were tired, and I said, well, how about we have a nana nap. We have a nana nap, and we'll set the alarm so we can go. Like we slept right through it. I think
Oh.
Yeah.
we slept. I don't know if we actually technically slept through it, or whether we woke up and just turned it off. Because we were knackered.
Yeah, I didn't even hear the alarm. And we were, I don't know why. Why were we so knackered? Did we do something strenuous that day?
I don't know. Well, it was a
It
long
was
drive.
just-
I think it was a 2-hour drive, wasn't it? It
Oh,
was a
yeah,
2-hour
the drive
drive.
back there would have been strenuous enough.
And we had fun there, and the people were nice, and we had a lovely meal, and then we went up to the room, and we couldn't do much. Remember, we couldn't do much because the pub was still sort of open, and people were
that's
still
right.
making
We had to wait until the band and the music stopped.
Yeah, so that's when we sort of sat there, did as much as we could, and fell asleep, and then woke up at some stupid time in the morning when everything really was quiet, and then we did a little bit of investigative work.
And I think we were the only people staying there that night, so we just walked all over the place.
We just walked around all over the place and made ourselves a cup of tea.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Heather is fun to investigate with, but I must get over there. I'd love to meet little Drew Baby in person. I always give him a hard time. For those of you who don't know, Drew from Drew's Adventures, he's a gay man, right? And I always make jokes and say to him, because he used to be a dancer, didn't he? He used to dance for money.
I think it was a dance, yeah.
I think so, yes. And I always say, I'll make a joke. Yeah, I did it the other night. I said, take your shirt off, Drew. I can't quite see what's on it. But I always make a joke and say, maybe I could turn you, Drew.
Could you grab him like a wombat?
Yes, and I said, I'm not having no bi-curious conversation with you, Drew. You just say your wonderful, fabulous gay self.
Poor old Drew. So I like to give people a hard time. But he's going away this weekend, isn't he, with a friend?
Yeah, he is. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know. Yeah.
I took a sneaky naughty photo for Drew too while I was in the doctor's office.
I don't know. All right. Well, you can share it with me if you want.
It was a really
But
cute
yeah,
guy sitting opposite me, so I took a sneaky photo. I was like, Drew, you got
Oh, that's all right. But see, Heather, it's not. I don't. Australians do have a different sort of sense of humour from our era. Like I'm older than Heather, but we're still from an era where you could make jokes and be politically incorrect, and people would just laugh. But all the Americans I know, like Enzo and Carla and Crow and all my friends, like when nobody's really listening, geez, we're politically incorrect all the time. It's funny. It's okay to have a joke. So long as you're not being mean. Do you know what I mean? So long as you're not being like there's a difference. You can be politically incorrect and say things you shouldn't, but so long as there's also still a line drawn. You don't pick on anyone in a bad way or make them feel sad about themselves. That's not funny. No. But to have a bit of a giggle. So I like having a giggle. So I enjoyed having a giggle with Heather. It was fun meeting up with her. My kids just love her to bits. They're like, Heather, she's fantastic. Yeah. So, and then one of my kids said,
kids were absolutely gorgeous. They really were.
I said to Heather, one of my girls was saying, I said something, and one of my girls said, you're transphobic, and you're homophobic, and you're this, and you're that. I'm like, I don't even know how Heather can be friends with you. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, far out. And I said, all right, I'll message her right now. And so I did and said, Heather, am I transphobic and homophobic? No, said Heather. Bloody kids.
I know.
But we have some fun. I'm going to. Yeah. There was thing. Actually, I just an off thing. Not political. It's more a mention. I know that in speech the other week, he talked about $8 million of waste on turning mice, making transgender mice, right? And everyone come back at him, said, "What a load of shit! That's bullshit! That's bullshit! They're not doing that." So I researched it, and I found a multitude of different scientific studies from different people that are doing it. And yes, they are doing it. I'm like, I understand. I said to my daughters, I get it because they've for many moons always given mice, rats, God knows what else, medicine to check the effects. I get that bit.
Right.
And so it was a drug that started to be that's given when this is the drug they were using on the mice, that's given to children and I think adults, I'm not sure, when they're thinking of transitioning. So I'm not sure what it does to the hormones, but it basically I'm not really sure what it does, but it suppresses your natural hormones, I think, and makes the opposite. I don't know. It's a drug, and so that's what they were doing to the mice. So in turn, indeed, and there were even some studies shown where they were actually doing the gender reassignment on animals.
Really? Wow.
Mice?
Well, I stopped. Animals is the word I'll use. I stopped because I didn't want to go any further looking into that because Mr. Trump didn't talk about that. He was talking about mice. So I just wanted to clarify if that was correct or incorrect. So he was correct. They are. But I also saw, and I thought, oh my God, it was bad enough what they were doing with beagles. I don't want to know what they're doing with apes. And I can't. I just can't. All right, because we're back to animals. But yeah, so that's all I'll say on that. But just because I thought that was interesting because it does pay when you research. And I was looking at the study, like that, it's a proper study, and there's a few different medical journals and scientific journals that have got, and it's different people doing it. So it's not just one thing. So I understand. I don't know if it's a necessity, but I guess I understand because it's gone on for years that they've tested all sorts of drugs on mice to check. I don't know why mice, though, or rats, because they're not human. Wouldn't you be better? Wouldn't you be?
I think what they do,
I'm just about to say politically correct in a minute, but I'll shut up because I was going to say go into the prison.
This is my thinking. I think what they do is that they provide the drug to the animal that has the closest to what a human reaction would be to it.
Is that why?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that probably
there's
makes
something about it. They'll use whatever animal will react closely to
what a human. So look, they get some great things. I'll show you something off that subject now. Hang on, I'll double check. What I think that's all.
Don't quote me on that though.
I'm not going to quote you because that's what I mean. Unless I look, I mean, there's obviously a reason they use mice and rats because otherwise they, and obviously there's a reason. Well, the very obvious reason they use chimps is because I think it's our science guy. It's 99.5 genetic match with a human. I think a chimpanzee. Yeah. So. Yeah. So
well, I use wombats, but you guys get really upset about grabbing them. So.
That's right. Don't touch our wombats. Or our echidnas, or our joeys in their mama's pouches. That's what we call a baby cat. Yeah.
Or what the country practice? There's a wombat on a country practice. It's an old 80s Australian TV show.
We had a TV show here in the 80s, early 80s called A Country Practice. And there was a wombat in the show that was called Wombat. And he was quite the star, really, wasn't he? Every episode was something good. Was that Fatso? Yes. His name was Fatso the Wombat. That's right. And every episode, something with Fatso would happen. And that was a good show. The good old 80s. You would have only been in nappies then, wouldn't you, Carla, in the 80s?
Yeah.
Enzo was. Well, so there you go. But yeah, So I don't know, what would be an American equivalent to a country practice? Nothing really. I can't think of an American show that'd be like a country practice. A country practice was basically all about a small little town and a medical practice and a hospital, and it was just sort of like the life of people in the country town. Maybe a little bit like the old show back in the 50s, the old show with the tiny Happy Days boy. Oh shit, I've gone blank. Enzo, no, Mayberry.
Ron Howard. Mayberry.
Yeah, Ron Howard. In the Mayberry. It was, if you watched any episodes of Mayberry, it was like country practice was like a modern day Australian Mayberry.
Andy Griffith show.
Laura.
The Andy Griffith show. I've got that box set, and I sat and watched that, and wished I lived. I did. I watched the whole thing. I've got a box set, and I sat there and binge watched it. And by the end of watching Mayberry and everything, I thought, I wish I still lived in that time period. It was so nice. They were baking pie.
It's just
I don't know, but watching the show, and I binge watched Bewitched once too. I think I binge watched nearly all of it, and I went and I saw all the people.
Are you a Dick Sargent or a Dick York?
Hang on, Dick York was the first one. Dick York, yeah. Dick York. When I remember, I think I've mentioned this before. When he was very sick with his emphysema, he went on Entertainment Tonight and did an interview, and then they went back to him later again as a catch up because when he was on and they did the interview and people saw how sick he was inundated with mountains of get well wishes and love and everything from people who grew up watching him, and he cried, and I went, like he had tears that he thought he was forgotten, and I thought, oh no, and then he passed away. He passed away, but it was nice.
At least
it was nice
before passing.
He was loved. Yes. Yeah. Oh, actually, Laura's mentioning there Aunt B. I've been tempted. There is a cookbook on Amazon, Aunt B's Mayberry cookbook.
Oh, cool.
And it is a cookbook, and it's got pictures of different episodes.
I would be Otis.
Yeah, you'd be Otis. I don't know. I don't know if I'm Aunt B. I don't know. But that's all right. Enzo's looking around for the cuckoo clock. Yeah,
it's behind me. Right.
So I was thinking of getting that cookbook, but then I looked at the price because it must have been something that was made back in the day, and the price for the book was $70 American, and I thought, shit. But I looked at some of the recipes, like there was Aunt B's recipe for different things, and a chili and a this and that. I thought that recipe seemed pretty good. I might revisit it. I might have a look and maybe shout myself a present. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, some of those old shows
too. Sounds good.
Yeah, because I can follow the recipes. It might even have I haven't looked because you can't look through the whole book. It might even have a pumpkin pie recipe. Who knows?
Yeah,
pumpkin.
Did you back?
Pumpkin pie is delicious. Did you try pumpkin pie when you were in America, Heather?
No.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm not a sweets person. I did do a jam and you call it jelly, I think. Jelly and peanut butter.
Jelly.
Deep fried jelly peanut butter sandwich with ice cream.
Deep fried.
Yes, deep fried. Yes, it was deep
fried. And I'd eat it. That you can deep fry anything.
Oh, wow, so good.
That was in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas. We weren't on the Strip. We stayed at one of the whatchamacallit hotels, like the timeshare. I can't remember what it's called. Probably well known. And across the road was this hotel or restaurant or whatever. I don't know what you call them over there. They're not like our pubs, are they?
No.
Karen.
No.
They're
bar.
So bar. Could have been a bar, like a sports bar type thing. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Bar.
And we sat in a booth, and yeah, they had these deep fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. With
Sound amazing.
oh, well, I've got to have this.
In
Sounds
Vegas,
good.
I'm kind of surprised because one of Elvis's favorite treats was a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
It was deep fried. That's what he got his house lady cooking all the
It
time,
fried up
wasn't
like you would do. No, it wasn't deep fried. He'd fried up like a grilled cheese
Grilled
sandwich.
cheese.
You like butter the
Oh,
bread and
yummy.
put it on there and then flip it.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and bananas. So,
Wow. Yes.
Actually, I saw, you know what I made the other day? Have you seen that guy that's on the YouTube? I think he's on the TikTok as well, but because it's just shorts. The 40-year-old guy or something, and he goes, "You don't mean to say blah blah blah. For the past 40 years, I could have been doing blah blah blah," and then he'll do a short. Well, he did it. I saw one the other day, and he made some brownies, and he used Betty Crocker's brownie mix. Because you have Betty Crocker's brownie mixes over there, Betty Crocker's cakes, don't you? It was a packet mix, and he said on the packet it says use egg, water, butter. He said I saw a hack: get rid of the water, get rid of the butter, keep the egg, and put in a tin of sweetened condensed milk. And I'm watching, and he cooked it, and I thought I'm going to try that. Oh my God. I could have I didn't. I controlled myself because I mainly made it so my girls had a snack. Oh my God. It was delicious. So it's just the brownie mix that you get in the Betty Crocker's packet, 1 egg, and a tin of sweetened condensed milk. Mix it, chuck it in the oven, cook it. I cooked it for about 40 minutes because it was very thick. And when it come out, I can't explain it. It was the most because I've tasted normal brownies and they're nice, but they're sort of cakey. But this one, oh my God. So yeah, if anyone get a brownie mix, 1 egg, and a sweetened condensed milk. Follow the directions as per, but just no water and butter, and try it. Delicious.
Wow.
that sounds really good.
Sounds good.
Jethro's
Peanut butter, banana.
peanut butter, banana, and bacon.
You can add bacon to anything, and that improves it, no matter what.
Oh no.
Well,
Including peanut butter.
It's the only time I have a
I'm not. I don't mind peanut butter. I had Reese's peanut butter cups. They're nice.
They're
my
my
favorite.
favorite.
But
That's my Halloween favorite.
oh,
Mine too.
yeah, no.
Yes.
Well, good to know. Good to know. So you know what I know what to bring as a gift if I get back over again. I know to bring some, but I wouldn't bring them. I'd just buy them there. But I'd bring you some Cadbury Dairy Milk
They're
chocolate.
addicting.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering. There was something else. I was going to ask you something, Enzo, and I forgot what it is now.
What is that stuff that you guys put on toast?
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Yeah.
Didn't you
What is
buy
that?
like a bunch of that for the thing? The
Virginia City.
Yeah, the Virginia City thing. Did you have to?
Yeah,
use
I
it?
did. I must send them some more. The roasting house, the coffee shop in Virginia City called the Roasting House. I sent them a care package, and I bought. I can't remember how many, maybe 50 little, you know how you go in and you get the little jams or you get the little butters. So Heather, I brought the Vegemite and I sent it, and I said, so let everybody try some Vegemite if they'd like. So mixed reviews. Robert, who does the cooking, that's Mandy's son, he didn't like it. I think it was Robert didn't like it, but everybody else, I explained how to use it. It's very important that you know how to use Vegemite and don't follow the there's people, if you go onto the YouTube or whatever, and you'll see them, they slather like a big lump of it. You have to really like Vegemite for some crazy reason.
I scrape it on like that
It's
on my
just a
crumpet so
finger.
the Vegemites fall through the crumpet holes. That's how I like it. But I'm Australian and I'm weird like that. But you've got to have I mean, honestly, there's even those small packets. There's too much Vegemite for most people in them.
Yeah, you'd go half, like one of those little. Yeah, I should actually, when we're together, when I finally get over there to you, Heather, hopefully this year, what we should do is get Werner to film us doing a Vegemite tutorial on how to use Vegemite.
Absolutely. And a Tim Tam
Absolutely.
slam. We've got to do a Tim Tam
And the
slam.
Tim Tam Jam, yep. So,
And then
Carrot
we've got
Destroyer, no, just a no. But yeah, so some of the things, so we must do that. But I must admit, some of the where's Tanya when I need her? She's disappointed. There we go. I don't know if I can do that from here. Anyway, there we go. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'll just put them in timeout. I don't mind a joke, but not racist ones.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wonder what she did.
Yeah, it's probably a troll, a person, or something,
Yeah,
or else someone who just does.
Actually, Heather, I wanted to circle back to something you were talking about earlier. What kind of things did you find at that retirement home place that you were talking about earlier?
Oh, well,
Thanks,
we had
Cheryl.
the retirement home and the forensics. Well, you had lots of beds. There was a lifting machine, like a clavier. Is it what does all the instruments and things? Those something like a cleaning thing.
It does begin with
a bedpan cleaner and bedpans, of course. There were
actually, I meant like anomalous things. What was being reported that you were investigating there?
Oh, what I found out through the
go for it.
investigation, not the objects. Oh, okay. Oh, look, that was a long time ago.
Well, I ask only for really one reason. It was actually Jess may have even recounted it last week when she was with us. That time anomaly, weird place that she was in.
Yep.
That was a retirement home style place.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, I don't think Heather knows that story. You have been on when Jess has been on, but Jess is doing something fun this weekend. They went to a retirement, an old people's home. They sent some people in, and while the people they were only meant to be in there for about 10 minutes, Enzo, I think. And an hour passed and it was getting dark, and Jess and some others went back in. This is a very basic story, but basically went back in, found them, and said, what the fuck are you doing? What do you mean? We've only just started to set up. What are you talking about? And she said, you've been in here for over an hour. Like, what are you doing? And then there was funny things with the air conditioning vent went on, but just above them, and there was no power to the building. Like, it was really.
This particular building had been abandoned for like a dozen years, and before it had closed down, it was a retirement community kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And of course, the time anomaly where people went in, they were doing base readings with all their, PK meters and all that other jazz. We're just checking out what was working. There was no electricity anywhere in the entire structure. There was no even wires going to the building. And but they were just doing a sweep before they started their investigation proper.
Mm-hmm.
People outside were like, it's been over an hour. We haven't heard from them. They're trying to call them on their phone, but it doesn't connect. And they're like, what the hell? So they just went inside and they're like, what are you doing? And they're like, we've literally only been in here 5-10 minutes. What are you talking about?
Wow.
And so they're basically 5 or 10 minutes on their watch had passed, where outside it would have been close to an hour.
An hour.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
during that investigation, there was big air conditioner units like on top of the building, and there were vents going into all the individual rooms and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And while they're walking around the building, one of the vents, they can hear the air come on, where you can hear the air rushing through the vents, but it only comes out of one vent and it's blowing cold air. There's no power to the building. What was this air? Where was it coming from?
Wow, that's odd.
Super weird stuff. So I was just curious, is there like a weirdness level thing with
that? No, I didn't get anything weird. Unfortunately, I wish I did. It would be lovely, but how do you convey that onto film too is another story.
Yeah, and that's true. Is you basically only have the story because there's no way you can translate all that. But I was just curious if you found a lot of anomalous type things in your investigation of that place. There was a parallel.
Well, it was actually Johnsburg. It was actually at Johnsburg, the old hotel that was in ruins, that I've had my biggest sort of paranormal activity to date. We literally, and I was petrified. I was absolutely petrified. We heard footsteps in the corridor outside what I think was the main dining room. We heard banging from the other side, and I tried to go on with the Esther session that I was doing with Werner, and I actually tried to ignore all this because I'm just freaking out in my mind. I'm screaming. Outwardly, you wouldn't know, but you should. I think you can hear all the banging and the knocks and the walking, and then eventually I get to the point like where I just had to acknowledge it. I didn't want to acknowledge it because I was too scared to, and I had to. And then Werner got freaked out, and we ended up stopping the Esther session. Drew did an Esther session, but we were just by that stage we were done. We were done. We were finished. We didn't want to do any more. Werner was creeped out. Drew was creeped out. I was creeped out, and so we just left. I didn't get to do half the stuff that I wanted to do. But anyway, never mind. I've got something. The funny thing is, I was doing the torch, watching through the torches the other day. And this is one of the other reasons, Karen, why it takes me so long to do an investigation. I've got to sit here and try and listen for EVPs, and it's impossible. I can spend a half an hour on one sound trying to work out whether that was me breathing, whether it was an EVP, whether it was Werner, whether it was Drew, or what it is, and it just takes so long. Each and every single sound, I mark it, and I think I'll spend at least a half an hour just listening to it over and over and over again, trying to decide, and half the time I can bunk it. But hopefully that comes through in the video.
Michael's asking you a question. Were there many windows? He notices when he did a ghost tour at a hotel, if there's a building has a bunch of windows, it can get echoey.
No, this was a ruin. This is an actual ruin. All there was bricks and the boards under the and the floorboards.
Where was it? Yeah. Oh no, it was Werner's thing I watched the other week where there was that creepy basement. See, in Australia, generally speaking, we don't have basements.
No.
But every now and then you come across a house in an odd place, like generally in the countryside, isn't it, Heather? Like in South Australia, I can imagine can get hot there, but yeah, just really every now and then. But yeah, Werner come across one. I thought he went down, didn't he? Or he went to there was spiders and everything. I thought, screw that.
Yes.
Might be.
Yes.
But
We don't necessarily have basements, but we have cellars. And it's literally just a hole in the ground to keep everything cool.
Cellars. Like we do. Some places do have cellars. Not much though. But the older houses, some of the older ones, country style houses might have one. But most of the time they don't even do that.
No.
It's all right. Here we go. They're back. Good. How do I get rid of them? Hang on. Hide. So they must be in here. I don't quite understand what's going on. There's that trolley person. See, look. And I can't see him in the chat on YouTube, but I can see him here in the StreamYard. It's really weird.
Are you on top channel live? I'll go into the live chat and see what happens. There they are. How do I?
You can see him? I'm having difficulty seeing him. You're a moderator, aren't you?
Yeah, I've just hidden the user from the channel. I think you're the one that's going to actually have to go in and block them.
You also need to follow it up with a report user as being disruptive or whatever, which I just threw. So.
I've just hidden them from the channel.
All right, I see him now. Good. Channel activity, go to channel, put user, hide user, remove. They're what? Why does it say they're a moderator? They're not a moderator. Oh, it's all right. I'm looking at the thing. That's really weird. Hide user on this channel. I can do that, but then why can't I report them? Report. What would you call?
You've accidentally hidden rawhide. Raw side.
But
I've
just
only
No.
seen your
like
raw
what you
side
were
there.
saying earlier there, Heather, is you were talking about like all the footsteps and stuff like that. Last year I went up to Atchison, Kansas to the McIntyre Villa.
Oh,
Spent
yes,
the night
yes.
there. And there was so much foot traffic, foots going up the stairs, going up and down the stairs,
Yeah.
running back and forth. It got to be where we just started ignoring it because it was so much
Mhm.
that we were like,
Mhm.
all right, we're okay. Yes, we get it. You're running up and down the hallway. Yes, we understand. You're running up and down the stairs. We're going to look at something other specific over here and do this. Because for like a couple of hours, it was just, all right, we get it. You do cardio or something. I don't know what you're doing. You're going up and down the stairs and running up and down the hallway.
Oh dear.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Heather, for getting some of those. And I've also side-clicked on them, reported them, and said remove from channel. So hopefully they won't show their horrible little faces. But there you go. I was going to say too, it's kind of off subject, but did anyone see Whoopi Goldberg go crazy at that Trump impersonator? There was a Trump impersonator that had a go at Alec Baldwin a couple of weeks ago, and it was kind of it was funny until the Trump impersonator said what he said about murder and stuff. I thought,
I thought that was a bit far too. It was one of those where it's like, okay, it's funny, but had he gotten like a punch in the eye, I'd be like, well, you kind of deserve it. You kind of had that. Not gonna feel bad.
Oh, look, the bastard's back again with pizza. Oh, just let him go and ignore it, people. Just let it go. I don't know how they're doing it. I honestly don't. But so long as that's all they want to do, fair enough.
That's a lot of
okay.
pizza.
That's a lot of pizza. So everybody, just ignore it and don't read anything they write because so far it's been a bit racist and not very nice. I was going to say, but Whoopi was walking down the street because Whoopi, she says honestly, I think she must be. She needs some mental health assistance. But she was walking down the street and the Trump impersonator, you didn't see him because he was filming. So I'm assuming he had his wig on and stuff. And he's going, hey, Whoopi. And he's saying it like Trump. And he goes, you used to love me. You used to kiss me. You used to tell me you loved me. And then he said, which is what got her, he said, Barbara Walters would be rolling in her grave. She'd be so upset with what you've done to her. What did he say? Legacy. Now, as soon as he said that, Whoopi stops and she comes over and she's going to go him. And I'm like, that I didn't mind him saying because he said exactly what I think. I think if Barbara Walters was alive, firstly, I don't think the show would have got to the shit show it is. But if she was still alive and could see this, she'd be rolling all right. And as for Whoopi, look, I just hope that show goes off the air. It's a very nasty, horrible show. It's fun. I used to watch that when Barbara Walters, it did. It used to be, they all had different opinions, always. They always had different opinions. Barbara Walters was always the calm, that, settle down type thing. But it was fun to watch. They'd have interesting guests on and things, but it's like a nightmare to watch that show now. It's terrible. So it'll probably just disappear, I reckon. Hope so.
No.
But there we go. What are you doing now, Heather?
Rawside lost their wrench when you deleted them from their channel. So you're going to have to give them their wrench back. Rawside Paranormal.
I didn't delete you, Rawside.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't do anything.
You did. You did it. Must have done it by accident. I've restored their channel, you can now see them again, but because they were deleted from the channel or hidden from the channel, they lost their reach. So you have to.
Oh, did I? How did I do that? I must have clicked on one and hang on.
It's
I'll
actually
give
pretty
it back.
easy to do.
It's easy to do when you've got spammers because it'll jump.
Okay. There you go. You should have it back, Laura. Sorry about that. It wasn't. I must have been clicking on her and accidentally clicked on you or them or whoever they are. I wonder if things like that they wouldn't even be. They're not even probably real people, are they? They're just a real person just doing something stupid with their computer, I guess.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone that being and waiting for us to talk about them. That's the thing. Is the more that feeds their.
They're more exciting. Oh well, just so like I say, just ignore them. It's probably a little kid or something with nothing better to do, or or it might be a mentally challenged person. Whatever. But there you
They're
go.
going to go out tomorrow and burn.
It's Elon Musk. He doesn't like what you've been saying about him.
Oh, he should. I love Elon.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, I love Elon. I think he's a lovely autistic man, or Asperger's, and I think he's misunderstood, and I think he's lovely.
Okay.
My children hate him. My children absolutely despise him. Probably, maybe that's why you're laughing too. I always just try to say you always have to walk a mile in someone else's shoes first and try and work out why it is that they're upset as they are about certain subjects. So that particular subject, that's why my girls don't like him, and possibly same as you might not like him. I just sort of think, well, just that's a personal thing for him because it was a child or whatever, and so let that walk and let that. But so far as everything else Elon does, he's a smart man, smart man. And he's not getting paid at the moment for what he's doing, and he's getting death threats, and he's scared. And so, but he's still doing it. He could walk away today. He could put his hand up and say, "Look, Trumpy, I've got to stop. I'm scared. I'm walking away." But he's not. He's being brave, and he's continuing to assist. So good on him, I reckon. That's all I'll say. And the other business, yeah, well, you put that in a box to the other side and let him deal with that with his family. But yeah. So I see both sides, but it's all right. But yeah, no, Elon won't be doing anything. I'd say that's probably Turret Destroyer is probably who doesn't know? Probably that Willy Wanker, that wanker dickhead. That it's probably that wanker dickhead from Montana who tried to bloody get our wombat. That's who that is. They heard him calling.
Wombat Destroyer is attacking.
No, exactly, Jeffy. He doesn't have to be. So he doesn't have to be there. He could just walk away tomorrow and everything will settle down and he'll be safe again. But he's been brave. So we'll give him credit where it's due. What about enjoying? Oh, Aspie, yeah. Like Asperger's, yeah. It's a thing. I think too sometimes because I've got a child with Asperger's, they hate me saying that. They don't like the word Asperger's because it was a German who invented it, or a Nazi, I think. I don't know. And I think so. I don't know. Or that was his name, whoever. I don't know. I'm over that bit. But yeah. So people with autism, or in particular the Asperger traits, you can often take what they do. They're not normally how's it polite? They're blunt. They don't have a filter. So you or I, before we say something, might think. Sometimes I'm not so careful, but generally speaking, before something comes out of your mouth, you'll think about it before you say it and think, should I say that because it might upset someone? Someone with Asperger's does not think like that. They don't have that empathy, which sounds horrible because they do have empathy, but they don't understand. They're socially lacking in that regard. So, and often, Yeah, often too, if you see him in particular in an interview, someone will ask him a question, and what you might think is a quick question to answer, because for you it is. You'll see him think for a moment, and he'll pause, and then he'll answer. That is because someone with Asperger's has a moment where you're speaking English, you know exactly what you're saying, but their brain doesn't necessarily compute it that way, and they've got to listen to what you say, compute it into their language, as in, what are you actually asking me? Okay, this is my answer. So some people think, oh, whatever, but that's all it is. And yeah, socially awkward. A lot of people can be socially awkward though, can't they, Carla? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be autistic.
It doesn't take much. No.
No.
I work the other way. Somebody will answer me a question, and then I'll answer it, and then I'll think, now what exactly was it they were asking? Does that make sense? Or like,
yeah.
The red flags, the thought process comes after I've answered. It's like, what did they really want to know?
Work on your timing, I think.
Analyzing it.
Yeah. So anyway, my point is that you don't have to like somebody or agree. You don't have to agree with somebody, and therefore their opinions on something could make you not like them, which is okay. But it's always good to be able to understand also where that person might be coming from. The only place I draw the line is, that I ranted about before. I'll draw the line at killing babies. So that's different. I hate that. Well, no, hate's a very strong word. Even so, I get very upset. It's upsetting. Are you all right, Enzo? Don't die on us. Jeez.
Well, I do have several metric tons of Oklahoma blowing past my window.
Oh, the wind.
The dust. Just off subject again. I have been researching. Hang on, my disclaimer before all this crap comes out of my mouth is that, yes, I am a nurse. Yes, I have medical knowledge of certain things, but I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert when it comes to medications, etc. But I like to educate myself on things that might be outside the box. Mm-hmm. So, having said that, I suffer from what is known as essential hypertension. So, high blood pressure, really high, with no known cause. So, I get all the tests done, and a few people in chat might be the same. You get told you've got high blood pressure, they run all gamut of tests on your kidneys and all that sort of thing, and come back to you and go, well, there's no actual physical reason as to why you've got high blood pressure, so we need to call it essential because we don't know where it's coming from. So I was watching this fellow.
Questionnaire, you have children.
Huh? What
did you mention? You have children?
Yeah. I get you. Yes. Yeah. But anyway, so I've suffered with this. I was first diagnosed when I was about 32. Now, when I got diagnosed, super fit, I was at the gym all the time. I was not overweight, anything like that. And so it was very like, what? I've got what? And they put me on medication. And I have been on medication since I was 32 for hypertension. A few months ago, it got really bad, really high. And even though I was on the medication, they doubled it and they gave me another drug and said, take that, which brought it back down. But then I was watching a fellow, what's his name? I've forgotten for a minute. He's a biochemist, biochemist. And he was having a chat about essential hypertension. And he said that you can get a genetic test. So I don't know how much that'll cost. I haven't had that done. He said you can get a test done that checks your genomes. And a lot of people with essential hypertension that he has dealt with, Dana White is one of them. Just if you know who Dana White is, he's the fellow that, he said the gene comes up that you're deficient in, not deficient, it's missing the ability for your body to combat naturally the high blood pressure, so to bring down cortisone levels, and there's a whole physiological thing that your body is meant to do to control your blood pressure. And some people with essential hypertension, their bodies don't do that, and when you do the test on their genetic markers, that particular ability is missing. And he had a name for it, which, sorry, it escapes me. But I watched him, and he talked about what to take, what he gave Dana White, but he said what you can do and different things to take. And I thought, okay. So that was 2 months ago I saw that. I started doing what he said to do. And nothing really budged for a couple of weeks. And I was worried about going off my actual medication because I can take my blood pressure every day. I've got a machine. And then I thought, shit, I'm just going to go right in. I'm just going to put the actual medications to the side and not take them. And I'm just going to take this particular thing that he said to take. This is the disclaimer, just because I'm just saying this is happening for me, but it's called TMG, or trimethylglycine. Hang on. Is that the right way? It's probably getting clear. That's what it's called, right? I take one of them. It's just a tablet. One of them in the morning with my thyroxine because I've got no thyroid. My blood pressure, after doing that for a month and a half, or 2 months in total, but a month and a half with no actual medical that I've got to go and get from the pharmacist, my blood pressure is now lower than it's ever been.
Wow.
My hypertension's gone.
Wow.
And I went, wow. So I've got a doctor's appointment next week. I will explain to my GP why I'm no longer taking the medication prescribed and what I am doing. So it's just a supplement. So I thought, you know what? I'll go back. I might get that test done just to check, because wouldn't that be interesting if people say it's a problem though that I don't know what these sorts of tests cost, if you know what I mean. So it could be, but I just went on the theory that, hey, maybe that's me, and wouldn't you know it? There was other things you can take too that can assist it, but I thought I'll just stick to one at a time. I want to see what actually has an effect. I don't want to take a gamut of different things and then not know which one worked. Right. So that's the only one I've taken for 8 weeks, 6 weeks on its own without the medication from the pharmacist, and my blood pressure. Sometimes it goes a little bit too low and I get a bit like, ooh, and I take it and I think, oh, wow. But it's not too low that it's dangerous low. It's actually low that is good, like 110/70, which is really good. And I've never had that blood pressure. I've always been 145, 150, 160, over 90, over 100, like even on medication. So very interesting. So see, this is what I fill my days with, people, research into all different things. And I just thought I'd mention that. So,
how did you hear about that again?
I should find it, shouldn't I? So I can tell you what Dana White. Remember, Dana White, the guy that what's the name of the fighting things? The cage fighting or whatever it is.
He runs the UFC.
Yeah, he runs the UFC. So Joe Rogan. I remember I was watching Joe Rogan. I was watching Joe Rogan, and he was talking to this dude. And it was him, and I think it was on that. But then I went to this dude. He's got a channel, and he was talking about it properly, and so I listened. But yeah, this dude, I'll find his name in a minute. I'll just type in Dana White Health, and then his name will come up. Dana White Health. What's his name? Jesus, Dana. I've just a photo of Dana popped up with abs. He was always overweight.
Wow, that pill does everything.
Crikey. Jeez, crikey. Well, anyway, what's he shedding? Gary Brecker is the guy's name. Gary Brecker. Breccka. He does have a channel, and he does things. But so he's the biochemist, but he's the one who took Dana. Obviously, Dana. Hang on, I've got to show you this picture, guys, because I'm like, what? I haven't actually looked at Dana, except you see him with his clothes on when he's clothes on. his clothes on when he's actually doing an interview or something. Look at that. That's Dana. This is Dana beforehand, although he looks quite shitty there. But that's Dana, and then Gary Brecker took over, and this is Dana now. That's a difference.
Wow.
But that's, so yeah, this Gary Brecker, it took him under his wings, and Dana had essential hypertension. Oh, thanks, Enzo. Yeah, Dana had essential hypertension as well. They did the genetic test on him, and it came back that he was lacking the ability to do what the body needs to do to keep the blood pressure down. But I know, right? Look at him. Anyway, I'll get rid of him now because we don't want to look at that too much. There we go. But yeah, and I just thought, you know what? I'm sick of taking tablets and doing things. And if because the human body is a machine, and it's a very complex one. And he's a biochemist, the guy that looked after Dana. And I thought, you know what? I'll just have a go. So that's the one thing I've done. And I just thought I'd mention it. I wouldn't tell somebody, and I never will say, oh, throw your other medication out the window, try this, because who knows why you've got hypertension. You'd have to speak to your doctor about that. But if your doctor says, oh, yeah, we don't know why you've got hypertension, or, essential hypertension, we don't know that's why you've got essential, then I would at least mention this. Problem is a lot of older doctors don't look at any of this stuff, and I know that because I'm a nurse and I work with some, or have worked with some doctors, and they don't even like supplements. Like if you say, oh, I'm going to take a vitamin D supplement, no, you're not. Get out in the sun. Like, yeah, vitamin D is a good supplement to take. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that and just say, there you go. It worked for me. And it also helps with insulin resistance, and I have lost a lot of weight in the last probably I think I've lost almost 10 kilo in the last 8 weeks.
Wow.
Very nice.
And I just don't know, and that's what I'm going to look at next. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just going to look. The other thing is, though, too, I haven't been eating crappy food either. I'm not. Every now and then, I made brownies the other day and I took a little bite, but I had a donut yesterday, but found because I've gone off sugar now, I'm not really intaking sugar. Like I'm not eating a biscuit or a cookie or anything. Yep. So because I cut out sugar and a lot of carbs, although I still have a sandwich, but a lot of carbs are gone. So I'm mainly good carbs like veggies and stuff, but I still have a sandwich or whatever. But yeah, I have noticed, where's Heather gone? Oh, it's all right. She's taking herself away. But I have noticed that the sugar, cutting out the sugar completely as much as I can, because you can't do it. The thing I find with trying to lose weight is if you cut it out completely or try to at the start, it won't work because you'll get the craving and you'll want to, and then you'll sit there and eat a whole packet of cookies. So what I did was just be mindful. And when I got a sugar craving, I reached for a grape. That's like a mouthful of sugar, but it's good sugar. Mm-hmm. And so I'd reach for sweet. And that got rid of the craving. But but now I find I actually don't, like I could have gone berserk on that brownie mix I made because it was delicious. Yeah. It was really nice. But my body went, ew, that's too sweet. What are you doing? So I took a bite and I enjoyed it. And I couldn't eat a whole donut yesterday. It was too sweet.
Yeah. And
that's coming from someone who normally I'd down maybe 2. Especially if they have jam in them, so it's interesting. It's really interesting. Hello, Lisa. But yeah, just saying, if that guy Gary Brecker, if you watch that interview with Joe, he talks about many different things. But then he's actually got a YouTube channel, so I went to that and started to watch what he talks about. Pretty smart man. Pretty smart man. Yeah. If you can avoid sugar, it's always sugar is a killer. It is, but it's so nice. But it is what it is. But there you go. But there we go. Hang on. For some reason I have gone backstage, but that is okay. I need to have a nap before I get my tour done working tomorrow. Oh, then are you supposed to be on my screen, Heather?
She's
I'll remove
back.
Heather because I'm pretty sure she's not aware she's still in my stream. I won't do that to her. She's there. I can see her. Oh yeah, she is working a lot lately too. But there you go. What's Cheryl saying? I'm not trying to lose weight, but the sickness is doing strange things. Oh, I went down another rabbit hole. Scientific, Enzo. I went down another rabbit hole. I won't say the C word because I'm going to mention something else. So I never get sick, really. That I did have the C whenever last year or something or whatever it was, lost my taste. But other than that, I'm usually pretty healthy. Yeah, that one. And I'm usually pretty healthy and I don't get colds or anything. When I was in Canberra last week before, my little grandson had sniffles, and within a couple of days I started to get a sore throat, and I'm like, what is going on? The rabbit hole led me down to hang on, I just want to say the word correctly if I've got it here on my laptop. There it is. Because this is my medical background helps me because sometimes things are really hard to understand if you don't have a spike protein. There you go. So I learned about the spike protein and the medicine they give you to control the C word, right? What that does, because I've heard about spike proteins before, and the fellow who invented that particular injection, the actual man who invented it, who said, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing it because the spike," and he explained spike proteins, and I still was kind of like, I'm not really sure I understand what he's talking about. So basically, the spike proteins they're out of control once you have that particular thing, right? Which means that in the future, if you come into contact with a virus or a cold, the spike proteins start going cray-cray. But the problem is they're not good. They stop your ability to fight the virus, any virus, a flu, a cold, whatever. So you will get sicker than normal, and it's generally in people older, but it's also been hitting younger people. So you know how they talk about people having that fatigue thing, they get it and it keeps going.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. So I read it. I read the scientific thing, and I listened to a guy talk about it and explain it. And I'm not really probably explaining it so great, but in layman's terms, that spike protein that was given to all of us, no matter which one you had, it kind of sits there, and it just keeps going. It spits out too many. It makes itself, and when you get sick, it makes more of itself. But it's not good to have, because it what's the word? It suppresses your natural production of certain things that would normally fight the infection. So what it is leading to is that long C word. Yes, yeah, it does, D, it does. And also when you get a cold, which is what I noticed, I caught a cold. My daughter didn't catch it. She's a bit younger than me, but I also saw that it was in people a little older. So again, our age, Carl, our age, I wish I was your age, but anything over the age of 30, in a lot of cases, you get it. And so what it does, it actually increases the production of phlegm on your lungs, and that is why some people get and die, because those proteins inhibit your body's natural ability to suppress the production of phlegm, etc. Now, I think it's a very low. Low. We're talking elderly people that just can't seem to fight it off. So
Yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole. I went down it again. I thought, well, okay, if they know that this is happening, is there a way to do something about that particular protein and get rid of it? The answer is yes, and you should all do a little bit of research yourself. They have been doing studies. At the moment, the studies are showing that yes, you can, but there's no, unfortunately, they need a bigger study group to actually boom and say it. And also to do these studies, you need backing, and because of, big pharma, etc., the backing to do these studies is hard because they don't want you to know you can do this. But basically, you have a look at it, and there are things that you can take. There really are things that you can take that combat it and can end up kicking it out. Because your body does have naturally things that happen in it, but this is an unnatural production of that particular protein, and that particular protein is not good for you. So just simple things like taking, vitamin C with and Joe Rogan did mention this, and for this he was like, he's a nut. I don't know, quercetin. I can't, QUE RC quercetin, I think is how you. No, hang on. I'll type the word in the chat. QUE RCETIN. That and vitamin C. And you can buy that. You can go into a health food store and get that. But they say if you take that, and I think it's like whatever the dosage is, let me see. But yeah, so you can take that and vitamin C, and that will help reduce that protein. Vitamin D. There's a whole heap.
Known as free radicals, which damage cell membranes, tamper with DNA, and even cause cell death. That's what quercetin is, whatever that is.
I can never say it. And the other thing is, the other thing I was taking, and I thought it was COVID, not COVID. Who wrote COVID? COPD. That's all right. Yeah. Well, Legionnaires, I still want to know where you got that, because that only comes, you only get Legionnaires if you've been using air conditioning that is the water-based, the old water coolers, the ones that they would have on the roof. What are they called, Enzo?
Swamp coolers.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. So, as I said, find out where you were that you breathed in that air and sue the pansies off of them, because that is not, unless you've got that on your roof, Cheryl, where you live, then you need get someone to come in and clean your air conditioning system, because there are people that, but it's generally hospitals and stuff, big buildings that you get that from. So that's a curious one. Squirrel moment. But yeah, I'm just saying, like I say, I'm not trying to, but I'm saying there are people that you can go and look at. So if you're, and for me, I've lost weight. I was insulin resistant, which meant I was banging on the pounds, and at risk of becoming type 2 diabetic. I wasn't, but I was at risk of. And since I've not the TMG stuff for the hypertension, but curiously enough, the weight's coming off too. But it was a diet change. But if you can get that insulin resistance under control and let your body work, it will fall off. I reckon that's why I'm just don't mark my words, but it's worked for me. I'm just saying what's worked for me. And yeah, COPD though is a little bit different too, because that COPD generally comes from other things have caused that, and but having said that, it still isn't a bad thing to try to boost your immune system to be able to fight off these things and assist your body in what it does naturally anyway. Because like melatonin, we produce that naturally. We go out in the sun, we come inside, our body works and produces melanin, and then and that's what, like, you know, when I was little, if you were outside all day playing and you went inside, I'd fall asleep. I'd be, you know, or if you've been outside for too long, you'll fall asleep because your body is full of melanin and you get nice and sleepy. But melanin does a hell of a lot more than just make you sleepy. It too helps with your immune system and allergies and things. So there's lots to look into. But if you're interested in your health and you want to check anything out, go to that Gary Brecker. He's very knowledgeable. And you could probably even type in at the top when you go to someone's channel, you can sometimes type in something you might be looking for. So you might, if you're insulin resistant, which anyone who's got a belly, you just are. If you've got belly fat, you are insulin resistant. So your body is going to eat anything sweet you put in your mouth is going to turn into fat. Simples. So there is a way to, and it's not all about exercise. Some people don't like exercise. It's all about just educating yourself, having a look at some of these things and seeing, is there something I could do? I just find it fascinating. I always have, when you look at the human body and how it works. I wish I had time to become a biochemist. But yeah, just have a look into it, because there's plenty of things you can do. And especially if anybody in here has been hit by the COVID thing, like just go, there's over the counter. It's just over the counter. You go into a health food shop. Obviously, there are some things that you still need to check with your doctor, because if you're on an actual medication, some of these things can interfere. Like, you just got to double check that. But at the end of the day, just try not to eat too many sweet things, and just try not to eat too many deep fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But yeah. And then, where's Jethro going? Jethro.
It's batteries.
Oh, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Doesn't matter. It's probably, what time is it in America at the minute anyway?
It is, where I live in Central Time Zone, it is 10:02 p.m.
And where are you? What time is it for you, Carla?
9:02.
Oh, you're early one. It's only 1 p.m.
Time.
Saturday afternoon in Australia. But yeah, so I've shared all that with you. I hope that might help.
Whatever reason,
I hope.
sometimes.
Enzo probably stays up to God knows what hour. I don't know. And how are you feeling, Carla? Are you feeling any better? What have you got coming up this week? Anything? Carla's been going great guns with her channel. How many subscribers have you got now? How many? 10, 11?
It went up. It's still like slowly going now. It's not like it was, but I'm around 13 now.
Cool. She's outdone me, folks. Do you know what? The same thing happened to me though when last year the shape and Beardo shouted me out, and I went from it just went like it did for you overnight. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was
I got accused of, what did I get accused of, Enzo? Buying subscribers.
Yeah, somebody said that. I'm like, no, I didn't. No,
buy anything.
I don't have the money to do that. Like, I don't spend my money on that shit.
And at that time, 8 o'clock in Virginia City, still time to get down to anyone in Virginia City. Still time to get. Actually, no, 8 o'clock p.m. No, it's Friday night, isn't it? Or if I was in Virginia City now, I'd be going to the Red Dog to get some chicken wings.
Oh, nice.
Their chicken
sounds good.
Oh, they make the best, and they make great pizza at the Red Dog too.
Oh.
But anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember now.
We were talking about the shape boost.
Yeah. So the shape. I've got my here. Where am I? That way. See his mask.
Oh,
has he sent you a mask yet?
No.
Has he sent you a mask yet? I'll get jealous.
Yes, I am
he sent
jealous.
And he sent me. I wore it the other week. I don't know where it is now. He sent me a silver necklace with a mask. He's adorable. He's adorable.
So nice.
He's a nice. So yeah, so he gave me a shout out, and he gave me a couple, like he has with you. He gave me a couple of shout outs, and Beardo gave me a couple, and someone else. God, who was it? But they were the bigger ones. Crow always. I'm sure he probably always shouts you out too.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of videos I made too, which were around a little bit of drama, but that's because they got up my goat, the toe tapping twins, friggin'
right.
whatever. And I did make a video. So I just went through it was mental, and then heated out, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. So what you need is it's great to have those numbers, but it's better if they come and watch you, like not just hit the subscribe button because someone told me.
I was talking to Andrew Stonerock about that because he had a shout out and his went up like ours, like not as high, but he had a huge jump, and it killed his algorithm, like views and stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so it affects his views on his videos, and then he lost some subs because they thought he was debunking, and he doesn't really do debunk. So I talked to him about it because I was kind of freaked out. I was like, I don't want it to have a negative effect on my channel, but I'm still slowly getting them, it's tapering off.
And even though, like, I think, I don't know what I've got, 11,000 or something, it's dropping, goes down about 50 a month. So even though I'm getting new subs, I'm getting some new ones. Yeah, because I guess people are going, I don't really want, I'm not watching. And that's the problem. People have clicked on and said, oh, so-and-so told me to subscribe, so I'll subscribe, but then they come in later and they don't watch. So if you've got that many viewers and they're not watching, it affects your channel. So you don't want, as much as you want subscribers that are watching. And like I went off, I when I went to England,
that was awesome.
When I went to England and came back, I was there was a lot going on. I was ill. I was going to hospital and a lot of drama in the paranormal world, and I had enough. And I cancelled all my memberships, so I just didn't want members. I didn't want anything. I've had enough. I didn't really want to do it. And Enzo knows that eventually I came back. But so now I've got to do the hard work again. So I noticed, like, I did changing the time today has done nothing, because there's obviously still people over watching whoever they are watching. But the problem is,
your time change it was in concert with the time change in the US, which Europe will do the time change in a couple of weeks. It's like the last Sunday of this month, so you'll have that to deal with as well.
So therefore, really, so I was going on at 12, which was whatever time it was, 6 for you, and I thought, I'll go back. I'll do it an hour earlier, so I'll start at 11 my time, which would be 5 Enzo's time, Central, 5 Pacific. I don't know. Well, anyway, an hour. So I changed it, but then I didn't realize your daylight savings had finished. So for you, for me, it's the same. Nothing's changed. I didn't come on an hour earlier because I've come on at the same time. So I'll change it next week. Enzo will put up with me, I'm sure. I'll change it next week, and I'll go on at 10 o'clock my time, which would therefore be an hour earlier than normal. But then I noticed you were on, Carla, and I don't want to run into your. It's okay. But you just don't know, because you've got to support each other. Right. You've got to support each other when you're in a little community. So you don't want to step on anyone's toes. But I only want to come on live once a week, really. Yeah. I really do.
I normally go on Thursdays, but I moved it because Joe had his birthday. So I didn't want to, I wanted to be on for his birthday and support, and I didn't want to take away, so that's why I did it like right before your show, because I still wanted to, for my viewers, because they know my schedule now. Now they're getting familiar with when I go live. Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of, and I'll talk to Enzo, and I'll talk to everybody who's watching, all 7 of you. The only other thing I can, and I'll get to you in a minute, Kristen, with your bloody Rocky Mountain testicles and sauce.
Oh no.
I watched. There was a film clip. Chevy Chase is in a movie where he's sitting in a diner, and there's a competition to eat. I knew what they were. I know what they are.
The Rocky
and there was a
Mountain oysters.
competition. Yeah, and he's eating the rocket, and she goes, "Wow, you're the first person to get up to 26." And he
Oh
keeps
my
going,
gosh.
he's shoveling them in. And then she talks about he's just shoveling them in, and he's like, "Oh," and she goes, "Oh, 30," and she writes down 30 or something, and then someone mentions for whatever reason what they actually are, and he's like,
so bad.
"Yeah, no, you can keep your testes. You can keep your testes." Yeah. So the only other thing I can think of is to pick a day through the week and go on during the week and leave the weekends to so that people do. But then again, the other argument can be look for a new audience, because it depends. If people want to come and watch me because they like me, they should come and watch me because they like me. They like Enzo. They like the people I have on, and they can put up with me being opinionated and going off on a rant. But if they prefer to watch Kenny Biddle or any of the others, then they should do that. They should do what, So I was fortunate enough yesterday to go on Lisa Grayson, the Grayson Report, because poor Lisa, she's not in our community. She's in like a different community, and I support her. Her laptop broke, so she couldn't come on, but she had a scheduled live to talk about that Aaron Goodwin and the whole Ghost Adventures thing. So Lewis is a boyfriend. Lewis went on for her and then invited me in, and I was like, "Oh wow, thank you, Lewis." So that was fun, and I was happy I could help her. But by them doing that, I did get a couple of new subscribers yesterday who I did note one was in the chat. So hopefully I'll just get a new new people, because what was that, Enzo?
A new audience.
Yeah,
just a
new
different group of people come in.
I'm sure it'll transition. It just takes time.
Yeah, because I still like talking about ghosty things and interesting things. But I also, and I don't really like talking too much about politics, but sometimes things get my goat, and I hate it when people just say stupid things. So all right, so sometimes, but I'm finding that I like just talking about the fact that TMG thing. I mean, my blood pressure's under control, and I'm not taking proper medication, just a supplement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's pretty. So I don't mind talking about things, so long as people talk about everything, anything, like and then when it comes to the paranormal, yes, I'm still interested. I just when Jess was on last week and we were talking about this and talking about what the views are of what is a ghost, like, because I'm actually at a point now where I don't believe in a ghost. I don't believe. And it was a really good combo we had, because And I'm interested in what Jess says, for example, because of her. Now that I know, I didn't know that what is her tribe? It's Canadian, isn't it? That starts with P. Because she's an Indian. P. It's truth. Anyway, I thought, oh my God, that is so cool, because they have a different outlook on spiritual matters. That culture has a different outlook, and I'm like, I want to learn, like, what's that? So Jess suggested kind of like dimensional, didn't she? Sort of like existences. We all coexist at the same time in different lines, and then possibly when we see a ghost or hear it might not be a ghost. It might just be someone else for a moment where the veil is open, that's not there, just in this. It was just really interesting what she had to say, and I kind of thought that made sense. And you know what? Shit, I haven't got my phone with me. What did I do with it? Oh crap! something. I'll put a picture of it up later. I'll just put a picture up in the community post. But I'll tell you what happened the night of the when I had no power. So I had no power. I had my phone on the bed next to me. I had no internet. I had nothing. So I was just checking my phone every now and then to see if the power was coming on, because if the power comes back on, I'll get some internet. Well, middle of the night, I hear like a ding. I got woken up. There was a ding on my phone, and I thought, and I was asleep, and I thought, power might be back on. But I remember I turned a light on so that if the power came back on, I'd know. So there were no lights on, but I heard my phone go ding, and I thought, I've got no signal. How's it going ding? Anyway, I picked up the phone just to check what was going on, opened it up, and on the thing was a text message box. I'd opened up that I had opened up the text message, but I hadn't opened up the text message, if that makes sense. I just opened my screen, and there was a text message window, and there was no message, but it looked like I had written something, and it was all funny. I'll put a picture up, but it was like JLJKJMNNJK. It was just really weird. But it was the weirder thing was who the text message was to. My son, Stephen, whose phone number is still in my phone. His phone number is still in there. I haven't looked at it for ages. It's just that, some things I don't delete, like his bank account details when he would ask for money. I still have his bank account details in my bank, so I could transfer him money. But I stared at it for the longest time, and I thought, I buy Mysteries Untold. I kind of thought, how? I don't understand how that happened and why him. It was the weirdest thing. So I will put a picture of it. I screenshotted it. I just don't understand. I went to bed. My phone was on my bedside table as usual. Checked it. Blah blah blah. Turned the screen off. Stuck it. And to be woken up, it was around about 1, 2 in the morning when that happened. That I got woken up. But I don't understand randomly why his number, why not someone else's number that I use all the time, maybe. But it was just Stephen's phone number, nothing from him, obviously, because he's not with us any longer. But I don't know if maybe when I was asleep, does your phone hear you? Did I say something out loud in my sleep, like call Stephen or text Stephen? Like, I don't even know. My phone doesn't even do that. It doesn't do that like an Apple phone does, I think. So I don't know what that was, and I still can't explain it. And that's why I mean that sometimes things happen and you think, what the? How does that even happen? I don't know. Again, but I'll put it up later. It'll be in the community. I'll just make a post and you can see what I'm talking about. It was really just weird. So if anyone's got any ideas on how that could happen, that you would open up your phone and there's a text message from your dead son from a number you haven't called in over 5 years, like, it just made no sense. Any ideas? Because I've got none.
I would
It's
say
weird.
that you out of body text him, like you were trying to message him.
Yeah, because I had been.
I think that's hard to believe, but
no,
I bet
maybe you're.
Like, I don't think we stay in our bodies when we're like sleeping. I think we're alive, but
our consciousness, yeah.
I think you were trying to message him. It's like in your
well, do you know what? Subconsciously, and maybe I did it without realizing and not knowing I did it.
You were trying
because
to talk to
I
your
had,
son.
yeah, and I had noticed the last couple of weeks when I do dream, I've been dreaming about him and us looking for, I'm going to get upset, looking for houses and finding him a room. Like, what room would you like, Stephen? And having conversations in the dream. And he wants that room, or can I have the one with the fridge? So maybe I did. I did.
Maybe.
He's been
So-
on your mind a lot.
He has. So maybe I did. That is a possibility because I was asleep, maybe without realizing I picked up the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be a process, though. I would have had to have opened up the phone, found his number, and gone to write a message. But like you're saying, if I was in a state of not really being awake or asleep, but I mean, people sleepwalk, don't they? And don't realize.
I mean, legit do that. So I
Le-
bet you were.
legitimately walk in their sleep and have no idea. So maybe I did. That's, you know what? Maybe I did. Maybe I picked up the phone, found his number, and because I'm not with it, that's why it's just been JJKKMMM, whatever, because I'm not really making any sense. But
Well,
that's
it doesn't
weird.
have to be. It doesn't have to. Like, we try to make sense, but I think like your subconscious doesn't have to make sense. What you're trying to tell him.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Like, it's probably yeah. So, but yes, I have been thinking about him a lot lately. So there you go. Never goes away. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm a Debbie Downer. Do it, Enzo. Do it, Enzo. Yeah, I'm a Debbie Downer. But, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, actually, you know what? Thank you, Carla, because that's probably that is actually a pretty logical thing, isn't it? That's probably because it was coming from me. It wasn't like there was a funny message from him. It was me trying to message him. Interesting.
You weren't awake. You were just doing, subconsciously doing that, messaging your boy because you wanted to tell him something. And he's been on your mind, so that makes sense.
Oh, thank you. Actually, you know what? Thank you. I'm glad I mentioned it because it's been driving me nuts, not working, trying to work why that. And that probably explains why when I opened the phone up, I hadn't hit send on the message, but when I opened up the phone, it was there. That's why, because I've obviously opened up the phone in my sleep. Oh, that's weird. Lucky I didn't send any rude pictures to you, Enzo. I better watch what I do with my phone when I'm asleep. I've probably done that, and then put my phone back down in my sleep, and that's why that window has still been there because I was doing it. That makes perfect sense. Thank you, Carla. I'm not going crazy. But do you see what I mean? And actually, that's a really good point as to why we as human beings do search out that strange stuff, because I bet that's been worrying me for ages, but that makes perfect sense. But given that you can do that when you're half asleep or asleep and you're doing it like sleepwalking, so there's many things. So that's why I guess the paranormal still really does interest me. It's just on different levels on what is our consciousness able to do when we're asleep.
Right? There's a lot of our brain doesn't. Yeah, our brain is very powerful.
So, and that's what I mean. So maybe when people think they see a ghost or whatever, they could be. I mean, you've had experiences. I've had experiences with voices and things, but I'm just wondering what that is. Is it really truly that some poor soul has passed away and still bloody wandering? Or is it like Jess was saying, maybe it's even someone still living and just part of their consciousness has taken off and gone somewhere. I don't know. I tell you what, if my consciousness could go anywhere right now, it'd be Virginia City and friggin' Red Dog for some pizza. And now I want pizza.
Traveling. That's great.
Some wings.
Some wings.
Yeah. And then head on over to Enzo and grab him, and we can go to Walmart. People still think I'm crazy for liking it.
Sounds like a fabulous time.
It does. Well, on that note, how long have we been chatting now? Oh my God, we'll chat for another few minutes. I'll make it 2.5. There's 7 people in here. Thank you, Laura and Cheryl and Kristen from Virginia City. I love Virginia City. You know, I love Virginia City. But yeah, I every day I look to see what's happening in Virginia City.
Yeah.
What's interesting. I like the Roasting House has got a page on Instagram and Facebook called Dogs of Virginia City. So because you can take dogs into restaurants there. Like you can take the dog into, you're allowed to take your dog in. So if you go, It's so good. And so
Yeah.
dogs come into the roasting house and I take a little picture of the dogs, Oh, yeah. When I was in there, Mandy would bring her. Well, Mandy's son, Robert, has got this tiny little dog. I don't know how tiny it is anymore. Oh, I've forgotten its name from the cutest little thing. And he would bring that in and I'd go, gimme, gimme, gimme. So I'd sit there and be eating my food and snuggling this little baby puppy. Yeah, I just love it. So I just wish I could blink and be there. But
That'd be nice.
anyway,
Just travel.
it'll
that
happen
way.
again. I am saying, yeah, I'm not saying anything yet, but if I can help, if I can do it, if I can save some money, if things work out right, and it's the airfares.
Yeah.
The airfare is the killer. It's the
Right.
absolute killer. I think I looked it up again the other day. I look up once a week to have a look, but I had a look. Return airfare from here to Virginia City, like so to Reno, and then
Yeah.
from here to Reno and home again, we're still looking at $4,000
Oh,
Australian.
wow. Yeah.
Australian, and I don't know what that converts to American, but around about, I want to say, I don't know. You'd have to do a conversion, but at the moment, I think it's almost doubles. So it'd almost be like having to have around about seven.
Whoa. Holy cow.
Maybe $6,500 American dollars. That's a
Yeah.
lot of money,
No kidding.
So yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. It was different when I was working because that was easy
Oh.
because I just took away everything else. At the moment, I'm not working, and it doesn't matter what I apply for. I'm not. I'm getting. I have had some interviews, and then it's turned out that the job's not what they told me it was, and I've got to travel. Like there's no parking. I got offered a job, which would have been great. The pay was fine and everything, but I said, "Well, hang on, where do I park my car?" Oh no, we don't have parking. I said, "So what? How do I do that?" Oh, well, there is a paid car park, or you can just catch the train. And I went, "Dude, you're a 50-minute drive in the car." Which I would do.
Yeah.
Look, it's a big drive, but I would do that. 50 minutes, park the car, go to work, pick my time to come home. But then they said, no, there's no parking. And I had a look and there's no parking. And I thought, okay, so catch the train to get the train there would be 2 hours of travel. And then I still have to walk for 10 minutes from the train station to get to the job. So it's very frustrating because half of the, what is it? Enzo says Australian 4,000 equals 20. What? I don't think that's right, Enzo.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I misplaced the decimal there. It's $2,530.40.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, so I've got to. So okay, yes, I have
like
it.
20,
So yeah,
25 grand.
that's right. Yeah. So if I come to America and I've got $4,000. Yeah. So if I come to America with spending money for hotels or whatever, I really need to bring around about 8,000 Australian dollars so that I'm completely covered for everything. And generally, I come home with money, but it's just the airfare thing. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So yeah. Where are you, Enzo? Have you disappeared? Have you been abducted?
He's researching.
You've gone. He's researching, but I can see the bar behind you, and the beach or the water.
I don't know why I disappeared.
Oh,
what?
Either.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I can see.
He's in Virginia City having wings.
That's it.
Damn it. Yeah, Cheryl, our money isn't worth anything, and don't worry, Cheryl. Once we get rid of the stupid Labor government, hopefully things will pick up a bit. Bloody toss it. We've got bad government here, terrible government. Yeah. The spaceship did pick him up, Laura. I reckon. So I mean, the government that will probably come in to replace the current idiot is probably honestly not too much better, but the bonus is there's another party in Australia, which if they get enough votes, they'll be there in the background. They're always in the background lurking and kind of keeping people honest. So, we'll see what happens. Oh, what's the Delta done? The Delta just put in slot machines. Oh, there
Oh
you
my
go.
goodness.
Yeah. The Delta was closed for the longest time, but it's got a new owner
Right.
now. The Delta is another place that's supposed to be haunted. Kristen would know more about that. I haven't looked into that because you couldn't at the time. You couldn't get in anyway. You couldn't get into the Delta even when the other fellow who owned it. You couldn't go in, and there was a few because it was under. Like there was a few things wrong structurally with the building that needed to be fixed. So also, oh, that's all right. Kat. Look at the bar behind you.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's
Enzo.
completely gone. It's all right. That'll be Enzo trying to fix his camera.
Camera.
Is it
Yeah.
Enzo? Yeah.
He'll
But there
probably
you
pop back
go.
up.
Yeah. So how many? We'll try and give him a couple of minutes to come up. You've got 30 seconds to come back and wave goodbye, Enzo. The grand opening of the Delta. See, you'd love it. You'd love it in Virginia City, Enzo.
That'd be
If
so
you can
fun.
hear me. I think he can hear me. He just can't.
I can hear you.
Oh,
I don't know
good.
why
Yeah.
He's still here.
I think to be honest, Enzo would be a little bit in like a pig in shit over there. That's or a pig in mud. I don't know,
Yeah,
like
pig in mud.
happy, like a pig in mud. Yeah, not shit. That would be that. No
Oh,
one
they
would happy
don't
rather
care.
than shit. I don't care either. But yeah, because you do. There's another saloon there too. Kristen, Mark Twain. Mark Twain's got
yes.
as well. Mark Twain has got or did have
I would
machines.
love that.
But yeah, you'd be happy. You'd have your little machines. You'd have your mines that you could go and walk around and look at. Let's see
Nice.
what else we like Enzo. I think actually Enzo being as quirky as he is, and the fact that he does like to sort of stay home. He's a homebody, I would guess, except for when he wants to go out and look at things. Only problem is you'd be too far away from Jess. But you'd be close enough to the love caves or whatever we call them. I can't remember.
Oh,
So there you go. Carla needs to come out sometime too. Yeah, Carla, I reckon Carla, your little boy, if you got an opportunity to take your little boy to Virginia City, he would love the steam train. There's a steam train in the good months, not the winter.
Yeah.
Well, in winter, in November, before the snow gets really bad, they have their Christmas steam train ride, and you go to Santa's workshop, and I actually got very emotional and almost cried. I almost cried. My friend Connie Small, Kristen, she cried. We were on the train. It was the first time Connie had been on it for the Christmas thing. And we came in and we got our seat, and we got hot cocoa and a little goodie bag, and we sat kids everywhere. They were playing Christmas music. It was nighttime, so they had also the heater, the wood fire in the cabin to keep you warm. And we're going along right from the start of the trip until you reach Santa's workshop. They've gone to all the hard work of having Christmas lights and things that as you're going past in the train, you see gnomes or you see pretty lights, you see things that are, and then the train stops, right? So then the train gets almost to go. It's in I've gone blank. Gold. Shit. Anyway, Gold Hill. God, there we go. So you get to Gold Hill, that's because that's where Santa's workshop is, and the train stops, and there's spotlights, and then over the speakers in the train driver, you hear the elves sort of say, yes, we'll see if you've got clearance to come through, and then they say a few things like, look, there's only a couple of people on the train that are on the naughty list, so you can all come through. And the train, because it's a steam train, starts up again, and you start to move, and they go, okay, we're opening it up now. And all of a sudden, lights like a runway light up, and then all of Santa's workshop lights up. And it's the most beautiful sight. And when you get there, so then you pull in, and you don't get
Yeah.
out the train or anything like that. Everybody, the whole town is there dressed as, well, not the whole town, but most of it are dressed there as elves and Santa's helpers and stuff. The kids are dressed as elves. Eileen, one of the girls that works in Roasting House, she's usually there decorating the tree. Santa comes out and he says hello to they're clever. They get everybody's names when you get on the train. Then they supply that list of names to Santa. So Santa's already got in his head some of the kids on the train.
Cute.
And you'll go, oh, and I can't quite see you. Are you there? So and so, and you hear the squeals of these little children on the train because they're on the train and what their name is. It's the most beautiful thing. And I don't know if my telling of it is thing, but if you can ever in Nevada and you're ever near, say you're in Reno, it's only 25 minutes up the hill, 30 minutes up the hill to Nevada, Virginia City. Get yourself a ticket for the Christmas ride on the train and take your kids.
That.
It's
so cool.
just beautiful. But having said that, going to Virginia City anytime with kids, because you can always go on the steam train anyway. It's not expensive. You get on there and you go and they take you.
So neat.
There is fun for all in Virginia City. All right. Well, Enzo still hasn't come back because he's still fighting with his camera. But
my camera is dead. I don't know what the hell it is. I'll be buying a new camera, I guess.
Oh no!
Oh, there you go. I haven't seen the Thomas the Tank Engine when I was, or did I? Maybe I saw it. Oh, actually, I did see Thomas, but he wasn't pulling any trains. I did see Thomas there when I was there. So thank you to everybody who's popped in, and thank you to everyone who's still listening. I hope you have a wonderful Friday night there in America and a good sleep, and have a wonderful weekend. It's already Saturday afternoon for me, so I'm just going to go and make myself some lunch. That's the other thing I'm doing, intermittent fasting. I stop eating at 7 o'clock at night and I don't eat again until 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. So there you go. Enzo does have gremlins. Laura, I will later on today work on an Easter Bunny centerfold for you. Any ideas, Carla? Who should be the Easter Bunny centerfold? Have we had? Oh God!
Did you do Mythos yet? Oh, the shape. The Mythos. Have you done Mythos?
Oh, that's what I was just going to ask. Mythos would be a good Easter Bunny centerfold.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've done him before. Have I done Mythos before, Laura? I don't think so. I can't remember. Have I done Enzo? Yes, I did. Enzo was the yes, I have. Enzo did get the sexy. Yeah, a couple of months ago. So I don't know if I've done Mythos. Mythos can be an Easter Bunny. I'll get some Easter Bunny ears on him, and I'll find a body off of one of the Chippendales and put his head on it, and a basket bed. Yeah, I'll make sure that I share the photo with him though, and let him know what's coming. He's pretty good value, actually, Carl. He's a very nice guy. We chat sometimes just on the WhatsApp. I did catch him live last night, I think it was, which was interesting. Enzo, apparently I was too awesome looking for this camera. Yeah. It's a curse. I know. It is a curse. Well, anyway, Mythos. Yeah, I might do that. That might be who it is, even if he's been on before. I don't think he has. I think I had Beardo and I can't remember. But yeah, I'll pop him up. Yeah, I'll do that one. I'll fix that today. It doesn't actually take me very long to do them because I've kept the cover. I've kept the cover as a template. I just remove everything off the cover, and I do a lot of background, take the backgrounds out. You know, it doesn't take me too long. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Well, thank you, Carla. Anyway, you've said well, I've done most of the talking, I suppose. You've always
great.
Bit cracky, and so
thank you.
Yeah, and it has been fun, and I will move it at some point next week a bit earlier and see if at least I can get some of my old viewers back who are torn between me and Kenny Biddle. Why they want to watch Kenny Biddle is beyond me. But he's not a bad bloke. He's all right, Kenny. He's all right. I don't think he's a troublemaker. I don't think so. But I haven't watched him for a while. I've just been quite out of that community. That every now and then, as I say, I'll pop in and I'll when Mythos is up and running, I don't mind having a bit of a look because he's usually talking about something nice. And I look at you too. I'll look at you. That sounds creepy, doesn't it, Carla?
No.
I do look at Carla because Carla doesn't muckrake or do drama. I think I probably today I was pretty dramatic with wankers and dickheads.
You're just
I lost my cool. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Play it by ear, early days, and I must pull my finger out. I must go through everything, all the footage of those castles and everything I went to in England. Not necessarily to find anything spooky. If that happens, it happens. But just to even put them together to show you how beautiful it was. Just beautiful there.
We would love that.
So I must do that. My trip to the different castles and give you a bit of history on the castles when they were actually up and. Especially the one with William Wallace, the one where I know I stood where he walked because it was a small gap, and all the historical things said he came through this gap with his men to slaughter the British, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing in a spot where hundreds, I don't know, a long time ago, William Wallace walked through, so we'll do that. Oh dear. Oh, yeah, good luck. I've asked him to. He's a very busy man. But we'll see what happens. All right, my loves, I'm going to go and get another cold drink. And thank you. And thank you again, Carla, for what you said before, because I actually am a lot more relaxed now. I think I'll have to make sure I don't keep them. I will, however, knowing that I've done that. And you're 100%. I reckon that must have been what I did. I had to. That's the only explanation. So I reckon you're right. Given I've been dreaming about him for a while, it makes sense. So I was probably trying to message him to say something like, "Get home for dinner." Right. But anyway, bye everybody. I'll shut up because I've said goodbye how many times now, and I'm still here.
That's okay.
And thank you again, Carla.
You're
Love
welcome.
you, Enzo. Love you, Carla.
Bye,
Love
Enzo.
you, Laura. Yeah, and I'll just go off. And I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you. I'll talk to you soon because I want to see what happens with that rocket, Enzo. And I'll talk to you, Carla.
Yes.
Like we all chat.
You have a great day.
Yeah, I'll see you all. Bye, everybody. Love you.
Bye.